All right, everybody, what's going on? It's your boy Jay Banks. You know what time it is. Tuesday, back in the powwow. I got my guy AI in the building. What's cracking, bro?
Hey, what up, guys? How we doing, man?
Yeah, so we're excited, man. So
For sure.
So this week we've grouped it up, man. We've got our guys on the backside of the podcast that are going to be talking and helping us out, and then on the other side of the table here. Now you guys have been popping in. Did you guys pop into the Kenwood store before?
I don't believe so. No,
I think I've been to the Kenwood store maybe once or twice.
Yeah, bro. Like, so you guys been popping in for a little bit over a year now, and I was kind of blown away when you told me how old you were, man, because your mind mentality and like the whole group that you guys affiliate with, like you guys got a cool little group of like 6 or 7 people that are all into fashion. They're basically like built-in models for you and friends, and you guys all go to school together. You told me you're 17 years old, and I was like, bro, this is what I'm talking about, man. Yeah. And I told Andrew, I was like, we have to get them on the podcast. We can't ignore these kids, right? Because if we ignore them, these are the type of people that are going to make a splash. So in 5 years from now, they're going to be like, if we blew you off at 17, by the time you're 22, 23, you're going to be like, bro, you didn't give me the time of day when I was nobody, right?
Yeah. Right.
But that's the one thing that we pride ourselves on here is the fact that like we're almost like a catalyst or a stepping stone for companies and young entrepreneurs like yourself that want to get into this space, man. And it's one of those things where, we've had people come in before and they're like, I want to start a clothing design. And like, I've been in this game a long time, bro. And nobody likes to share the recipe to Coca-Cola. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to give up that recipe. But for us, it's like, look, man, like I'll give you everything that I've got, right? Because, if I can sliver 5 years off a trial and error with somebody like you guys, I'm all for it. And then if you guys start getting really good at what you do, all that's going to do is put a fire under me to get better, right? Because like I'm the leader of the pack when it comes to the clothing industry down here, man. I can promise you, I can outdo anybody when it comes to designing, printing, coming up with the dopest shirt, dopest design. Now you were talking about the 50-cent shirts that you have now. So ZOZWEAR. Actually, before we even get into it, I got to introduce you guys. Yeah, man, I wanted to jump right into it, man, because you guys put a lot of fire under me, right? Because it's like I always call myself Yosemite Sam because I'm like I've got my 6 shooters and I'm shooting from the hip, but at the same time, man, like my biscuits are burning, bro. When I feel people coming up behind me, like I get that little bit of like fear, where I got to hop out and be like, all right, I got to get better. I got to do something else.
Keep you on your toes, man.
Yeah, man. So Brighton and Isaac, man. So you guys have been popping in for a while. And when you guys first came in, you asked me if you can do a photo shoot in the store. And I was like, hell yeah, dude. Bring the crew. Make it happen. So you guys popped in. And everybody was so stylish when he came in, too. And I was like, all right, bro, this is the type of stuff I'm talking about, man. So ZOZWEAR, ZOZWEAR. And I was going to ask you what that is, but that's your last name.
Yeah. So ZOZWEAR, it's been going for a little while. It's something that I started by myself, and I was kind of taken to a place where I can invite collaborations and we can start doing a greater cause. ZOZWEAR aims to give people sustainable clothing, and it connects people with sustainable clothing and brand at a higher ease of convenience, a higher rate of convenience. It's a lot more affordable than most options out there. It's just think of thrifting online. Like that's the way I would think about it. And we have, like, you brought up the 50-cent T-shirt. There we have rare items. We have discount rare items, and the rare items, we have a system that allows people to get those items fairly cheap and for like really easily.
For sure.
Where I have that 50-cent T-shirt and I can't find nobody else with it.
Right.
Or like I got a Machiavelli T-shirt where I can't find it either. And having those items and being able to give people these sustainable clothing, because I know that these have been pre-owned, either dead stock, but they've been pre-owned, and almost every item has.
Right.
And
I mean, that's the style now too, though, man. The style is oversized shirts, dad's fucking grass cutting jeans for girls, right? That are just like basically pipe jeans and shit that don't even touch the shoe. They're kind of hanging right above it. They're not like. So the style is always changing, man. But the cool thing is like, so you're doing the legwork that people don't want to do. And, especially when it comes to like Goodwills and shit like that these days, bro. Like, you've always got somebody that works in Goodwill now, right? And so the thrifting isn't there because you go to Goodwill and you're trying to find the Lacoste, or you're trying to find the Hypercolors, or like the old Harley Davidson tees, and they're all gone, bro, because the people that are working there, like that, like they literally have that as a part-time job, just to snatch that shit off the shelf and then put it on their own Etsy or website or whatever.
Like finding people who, because everyone has clothes to donate. Clothing is an evergreen product. People always need clothes, and people are always getting rid of clothes.
Right.
And if I can take
people
those
are always
items,
growing, bro. They can't fit into the shit they wore 10 years ago.
If I can find those items that people don't want and give them to people who do want them, that gives my life a lot greater meaning than just going and upselling it.
There's a lot of gratitude to doing that, man, because you're feeding your own passion by doing it too. Like, because for me, like I'm. I like spending money, right? So like shopping is it's a bad thing for me because I like to shop for myself. But what I've done is I've turned it into shopping for the store. So it's like the same thing where like I can still go out and like I can get that high off of buying Funkos, right? But all I'm doing is flipping them. So I'm getting a double high because I found the Funkos that I love. I'm bringing them in the store, and then we're selling them for a higher price. And once they sell, then we're doubling up on that satisfaction, man.
And every once in a while, we'll keep one.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we get that Jordan or someone. And
that's the problem, man. Yeah. And that's the problem with thrifting too. I'm sure, man. You find something and you're like, bro, like I don't even know if I can get rid of this one, man.
Right. Oh yeah, there's a few items that I've definitely can say I've kept over the collection. I mean, a lot of the items that I put on there are super cheap, like. 200 of the items are under $8.
Holy cow.
And so it's just getting people those clothing, like connecting people with that clothing at a lot simpler ease. Like you want to go thrifting, all right, you can do it from your couch. You can do it in the car. You can do it across the country. If you live local, we got free shipping.
Dope. So you're uploading these to like a website?
Yeah.
And then
our first party website, and we find companies
and they're all done individually. So you throw up, if you find like a Bugle Boy T-shirt in a medium, you're taking the time, you're uploading it to the website, and there's just one of them there. So once it's gone, you're pulling it off, and then it's gone.
Yeah. So the inventory is constantly rotated. So when there's an item that's sold, it's no longer there. If it comes back, it comes back, but that can just be put back in. The inventory, like I said, it's rotated every year. So all items that aren't sold, they're going to be recycled, made into new clothing. Like we're working on undergarments, so that like socks, underwear, like personal like clothing, and we're making that out of recycled clothing that we're not selling.
Right.
So
that's dope. So cut and sew, man. That was something that I started the whole brand with when I was in high school. I used to just rip my jeans apart and then put them back together. So I'd rip the pockets off, and I'd slap them on the front, and I would either sew them on, or I would take like safety pins and safety pin the whole front of it, where like I could literally just do like this, and it would like there was safety pins that would just or if the pants were too short, I was able to flip them inside out, or too long, I flipped the bottom up, and then I would cut the inside and then lay it out, so like the seam of the pants would be all the way up on my shin, but then the inside of the pants would be the bottom half. Yeah. So like I had a pair of jeans that would look green on the inside. It was just the way that the dye process was. So I was able to flip them inside out, and the bottom of them were just green, and then the whole bottom was frayed because I frayed the bottom and then sewed the top off. So it was literally just flipped over and then sewn on and just cut, and it was like.
Do you know how to sell those?
I've sold a lot of them, man. So I think I kept those. I probably have a bin or two of 30 or 40 jeans that I made, but like that's where I got the passion from, man. I was your age. I was 17, high school, and I started doing that shit. And once I had one buddy, bro, that was like, bro, that's fly. I'll give you $200 for those jeans. Like, you're gonna give me what? You're gonna give me $200 for those? Hell yeah, man. I'll make whatever you want.
Right.
Those are the brands that we're trying to feature on our store. So like connecting people with sustainable clothing means that like it's more than clothing. It's accessories and apparel and everything that falls under that category. So if we can find a sustainable shoemaker or a jewelry maker, we're more than glad to host you on a site and connect you with that larger audience that is looking for sustainable fashion.
Right.
So how do you normally find the people that you're going to feature? So like what's your process of like looking for people that'll fit your bill What is
I usually reach to him.
I typically do
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it's word of mouth and then Instagram. I really
IG,
enjoy.
cool.
Yeah, I really enjoy working the algorithms and seeing where it goes. But I have a lot of friends who are a lot cooler than I am, have a lot better of a style than I am, and I just go to them and I go, okay, so who are you guys buying your rings from that nobody else has the exact rings that you have? Where can I go find and talk to that person? And then it's really just networking everywhere. If you're always talking about your ideas and you're always talking about whatever you're trying to create, at some point you'll talk enough people's ear off where you'll find somebody who wants to listen. So I was at a hippie fest maybe like 3 weeks ago, where we were just going and meeting some people, having like a relaxing weekend, listening to some live music. And there was a guy there who was doing something really similar to what we're doing, where he gets thrifted clothes and just flips them and creates new designs out of them. And he sells them to a website where we're sitting down and talking with him. So it's really all over the place, and then trying to find those unique individuals and then finding where they get their uniqueness from.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So your eyes are always peeled then. So you're pretty much you're almost like a fashion scout of sorts. You're scouting people that, fall in the same lane, right? So like that's huge, because there's a lot of people out there that are judging others on what they're wearing or whatever, but you're looking for the people that you can be inspired from.
I'm looking for anything that catches my eye. If it's different, does that different look good? Can that different look good? And then where can we find that different?
Yeah.
Because uniqueness is our primary focus. Is we believe everybody has their own unique style, and in that every item is unique, or at least a part of it. It's not those exact fibers that's in another shirt.
Sure.
It's still a unique shirt. And so if we're able to take those and then pair them with the right people, it just creates this, because you feel better when you wear a good outfit and you do all of that. So if you see somebody and they're confident in wearing their awesome clothes, you go to them, where did you get your clothes from?
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
Yeah.
One, that makes somebody's day because they know you like their outfit. And then two, you're also getting the information. And so it's this exchange that's happening. And it's really just all about building that connection in the community around
and it's organic.
That. It's organic.
It's organic, so that you're looking at it like, all right, I see you as a total package. I'm watching how you carry yourself, the watch you have on, the wristband you have on, the shirt you got on, the pants, the shoes, even the headwear. If it's a hat, you know what I mean? Like we sell hats here, but like you're also like creating a bond with this person, because you're initiating the conversation. What do you get that? And everyone wants to. I mean, not everyone, I would say, but a lot of people want to like talk about what they've got. They've got put on, because not everyone's asking them anyway. So you come into the picture like, hey, where'd you get that? And they're like, oh, you noticed me, or hey, you recognize Rio, like cool, like, and then I'm sure they give you all sorts of information.
They do. Everybody has a voice. You just gotta create the space to listen to that voice, and
for them to be comfortable.
Wonderful things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's the truth too, man. You never know. Like just like with you guys, man. You guys came in and. There's, you guys had an idea and a vision, and there's two things. We can either say, yeah, we get it, that's cool. Like,
I definitely,
keep running with it, or we listen and then we say, man, this is like these guys got some really really good ideas. Like when you showed me that that RFID card, bro, like that's like you're thinking outside the box, and you're going like beyond like what. Companies are doing, right? And at 17 years old, that's really impressive, man, because you're able to take like what the adults do on the marketing scale, and you go, okay, I like that, but there's this here that I've seen being used, and I just a quick Google search, and then you use your mind to connect the dots, and all of a sudden you're like, all right, I can make this, and I can make it.
A lot of it is just like a solid business plan. Like if you have like a straight shot that you want to take, and you have certain morals and beliefs that you like have in place for that business, and you probably like try and problem solve like a solution like that. Like I'm trying to find people who want or like to get them clothing more conveniently, and what's the best way to do that than like a cart that you have physically,
right?
Like a lot of the things about e-commerce brands is that a lot of people forget them about like the first 10 minutes after a purchase, and then they never see them again. But if I ship them a package, they buy something from the site, and then they get this card. This card just lives with them,
and it's cool. You pull out a card that you can slap against a phone, and it pulls up a link to your like a website instantly.
It's killer, bro.
And nobody has those, or at least it's not a technology that people know a lot about. So
right.
And it's not just a rip off the website either. It's like it is its own custom UI built for that card.
Right. No, that's incredible, bro. And so what you're saying, it falls in the same thing that I've always felt was like I'm a perfectionist. So like it doesn't matter if who gives me the business card? Once the corner is creased on the business card, bro, it's going in my drawer. It's not in my pocket anymore. It's out of sight, out of mind, right? So what we did, like what I did with the company a long time ago, is I made these bracelets.
Yeah.
So at the time, I was able to get them real cheap, like 18 cents each or something like that. So I bought like I think 2,000 or 3,000 of them at a time, and I would just give them out. So it was the perfect opportunity for me because I was at the bars, and nobody wants a business card, bro. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna put it in your card. It's gonna bend. You're gonna toss it out at the end of the night. So with these, like, hey, I like the hat. Where'd you get it? Bro, here's 5 bracelets, right? I gave them to the bartenders. So bartenders are wearing my hats, and then when somebody goes, hey, Katie, I love that hat, man. Where'd you get it? Instead of her having to stop and tell you, she just rips that thing off her wrist. Here.
My business card or my bracelet would be the stickers.
Mm-hmm.
Like just having them pass around, like people love them. There's 12 different designs. There's one that's unique for every like different type.
For sure.
And it has a link that goes straight to it, and you just pass them around, and you see them around the city, you see them around the levee, you see them around Cincinnati.
Tyrell said he's seen a bunch of them downtown already.
Yeah, I've
bro.
seen them too.
Yeah.
After we had that conversation, when we first initiated conversation, I was out like 2 days later. I was somewhere, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh man!" Like it was such a weird moment, like cold chills kind of thing. I'm like, dude, I just talked to them. Like, what? That is wild.
We're
that
really trying to push it out.
Yeah,
so we
for
can
sure.
Get people.
I
to
mean,
see
you
it.
could have put the sticker there yourself. I don't know. It didn't really matter. We had the conversation. I was downtown by the banks, and I saw it, and I was like, huh.
And then we had them all.
And then
out.
we had a conversation, me and him, the next time I came to work.
Oh.
We talked about right after that, and like we should really like get involved with these guys. We should talk and everything. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm in. We're down for sure. Yeah. And I mean, we sparked conversation just from it, and it's a unique name, unique style. Everything about it's really aesthetically pleasing, if you will.
And the best part about it, bro, is you're gonna start to trim the fat, right? Like right now, you're in the idea process and the stage of like this whole like let's get this going. But once you start trimming the fat, so you're gonna have this nice piece of steak there, bro. Or like you can get rid of some things, you can add more things onto it. And you're going to have this platform, bro, that's going to be fucking...
On July 3rd, that's the day I turn 18. And one of the biggest projects...
Coming up.
Yeah, it's in less 10 days.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest projects...
July's in 10 days?
July birthday here, too.
Jesus
July 20th.
Christ, bro.
One of the biggest
I'll be
projects
34, though.
that
so.
is releasing in that is ZOZWEAR V2. It's the kind of the next evolution of where we see ZOZWEAR coming.
You said 2?
Yeah, ZOZWEAR
V2.
V2, yeah.
V2.
Version 2.
So
yep.
It's going to introduce 20-plus new features, quality of life updates, just general, like, well-wanted features,
cool.
Revamped UI.
And a whole bunch of new items.
Yeah, we're almost tripling inventory, so...
Dope.
Yeah.
Are you traveling all around the... Like, not traveling, but are you searching all around the country for these, limited edition items?
Actually... So what we're trying to do is, locally, yes.
Mm-hmm.
We want... Our end goal is to franchise this.
Mm-hmm.
We want one building that someone can buy. And so say you're in Cincinnati, you're using our app, Cincinnati. You get items from Cincinnati because our warehouse is set up in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. And it's the same in Cali or anywhere in the U.S. But say someone franchises this down in Arizona. They can open the app without even realizing it. They would be in the local Arizona place. So let's say you're in California. Mm-hmm. You can get free deliveries from that area as long as you're by that franchise store.
Right.
And this is where we kind of take it off from here because it's a model that we're building to have it reproduced throughout the entire country.
So and this is all going to be like vintage clothes, right? Because that's gonna be the tough part is expanding on a market that people are
coming up on V2. That's going to change. Instead of vintage items, it's going to be like unique items because that's what those items are.
Like reprocessed items that you've taken
and so
anything we take something and then create something better with it, whether it's an upcycle, a recycle, or we're just taking that item and cleaning it and making sure that it's in good condition before sending it out.
We'll get items
refurbishing
it.
That's a great way to describe
it. Yeah, that's all items on
worldwide
the site.
Thrifting, bro. Worldwide thrifting is just that's
so there's
future,
there's a company, bro, that you guys should probably do some research on because you're going to get a lot of knowledge out of them. American Rag. It was a company that probably I don't know who the owners are. I don't know how long they've been along, but I do know that that they murdered it. They went around to all the Goodwills and all the thrift shops, and they bought suit coats back 15 years ago, 20 years ago, a bunch of different suit coats. They dry cleaned them, and they took out the logo on the inside, and they just added American Rag on the inside.
Yeah.
And it got so popular that they were able to put it into Macy's. So now you were able to go into Macy's, and you would have Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, Tommy Bahama, and then a rack of used suit coats, bro. It was the craziest thing.
So imagine Macy's being ZOZWEAR on a completely digital scale.
Yeah, I see it, but what I'm saying is it's going to be hard to fill a Macy's with used clothes, right? Because there's people like you that have been doing this since 1986, right?
Yeah.
So, and vintage clothes that you can't produce more of it. So it's like one of those things where you're going to have to.
Well, I guess the vintage name, as it is right now, was a poor decision to name it that, because if we're looking at like the actual definition of a vintage item, it's anything before 1960. And maybe one or two of those items in the 20 that are in the vintage collection are.
So it's got to be over 60 years old to be vintage? I thought it was anything over 20 years old.
The definition of a vintage item would be anything before 1960.
Okay.
So that's why we're going to change that category into unique items, because we'll get items and we'll go out and we'll search and we'll get donations, and occasionally we'll get this item that's like, oh wow, that is a crazy ass item. But I don't want to sell this as the same price as the discount items.
For sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not as profitable as that way. So we'll make a new we have this category, which is vintage now. It would be unique items. So that 50-cent T-shirt, it sold for $30. We also have subscription services.
Which, bro, that's a great deal for that shirt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it came down. Like, that price was hiked down.
And it's not just us, because ZOZWEAR would be the Macy's, and then all of those different things inside the Macy's are the other people as well.
I see. Okay.
So we just brought
so you guys would be the Macy's, and then Native would be just a clothing rack under ZOZWEAR is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, the goal is to create the platform, because what we're doing right now is it's difficult to create, even find and wiggle into the space where we're able to expand and know what to do. So if we can create a place where somebody who's young and a fashion designer with all of these dreams can go, hey, I can do all of this stuff, but I don't necessarily have all of the ability to run the UI, to run the web design, and to get everything uploaded, or even know how to start doing it.
Or even know how to do it, yeah.
Yeah, we do all of that for them.
We'll give them the tools, and then they can take it from there. The mediums that we're working with right now is purely just you go onto a website, and that's it. Next Evolution is an app, and then Next Evolution is VR. VR is eventually where we can see the store.
Yeah, so we've got a VR store. We've had it for 4 years now.
Yeah.
So thevirtualclothingstore.com. So you can actually click on it. It'll take you right to the store outside. So next week they're going to come in here and they're going to digitally map this store out. So they'll redo it. But you can put the Oculus on. You can walk through the store. You can click on items, bro. You can click on the TV and you can play one of our YouTube videos. You can click on. I've got an old Lasonic boombox too, so you can click on that and play Q102's music or Kiss 107's music like in the background.
That's dope.
Yeah, bro, but you're able to literally walk through the store, and if you see the Native TV shirt, you click on it, you can put it right in the cart.
So imagine that, and you're able to do that on your own through our platform. That's what we
are doing that.
So
though.
If we're taking ZOZ Technologies as a whole, and the three separate projects that follow underneath ZOZ Technologies, one of them is a blockchain native app that completely runs on VR. Now, this would enable you to come into a store like this and replicate it digitally onto the blockchain. So meaning every item that you have on here would be an NFT, and you're able to sell those as pairs. So someone can own a digital and physical version of it.
For sure.
So the platform that we're working on for that won't come out for a while. So, but what I imagine is VR headsets kind of like on major locations. You put on that VR headset and it takes you to like ZOZWEAR.
Right.
And ZOZWEAR, you're able to just kind of browse through the racks like you would in a normal thrift store. You're able to pull on it, pull out the item, and then check it, and then buy it, and then it comes straight to your home. Right. Or
a digital version and a real version, which is ideally what we want to do as well.
NFTs though, they're fluctuating right now. You know what I mean? So We've got people out there saying that NFTs have kind of a waste of space. They're kind of a fly by night kind of a situation.
And I understand that perspective.
But with that being said, there is something there with the digital space because of the metaverse, because of things that are happening, beyond our control. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen no matter what.
And we haven't given it a purpose yet. The thing with
there's very little utility in NFTs right now.
Right, but there will be there will be utilities, because there will be a time where you'll get bonuses and benefits through it, and companies will step up and they will.
Like soulbound tokens, you can
think
get
about
your
it as hospitality.
diploma through it.
Think about it like hospitality, right? So when you go to stay somewhere, you go to stay at like a Holiday Inn, or you stay at like a Marriott or something. There's the bed and breakfast. There's a pool. There's different things that you get with your stay. Think of an NFT as you're getting that with your stay. What do you get with the item? Exactly, it's a ticket. Correct. So what do you get with it? Do you get a one-on-one potential interview, like a conversation with the owners?
Mm-hmm.
Do you get a conversation with like one of the influencers that are part of the brand on a smaller scale, or are you getting free items that you wouldn't normally get? Like,
I still think those are sucker bets though. Like the ones that, like, for Gary V, where you're trying to, like, well, if you buy this NFT, and when you go, like, obviously when you go to his scale, it's like 10 minutes with Gary V could change your life, right? So those are things. But for me, like, an NFT to really make sense, like I've been saying this since NFTs first came out, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, if there was one company that can make NFTs and make them extremely popular, it would be Rolex. Yeah, right. 100%. So imagine Rolex being able to take an iWatch and create a Rolex face, and there's only one of them.
So
right?
the perspective that we're trying to take there is our platform would be the platform that Rolex used to create this watch that is one-on-one. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gets the same area is like. All of the NFTs that would be produced through the platform would be one-on-one. Like, if it has any like physical or visible difference, it wouldn't matter. Every item would be one-on-one. It would be
that gets expensive though when you're trying to.
Oh yeah.
When you're trying to, like, cost like $60 to $70 for each NFT.
So
when you're trying to
the way that we're having
to mint them.
The way that we're trying to have it do. So that's when you're using the Ethereum blockchain though. So the blockchain that we would originally go through is Solana, because they take so little energy to do it. It's less than a cent to mint an NFT.
So is that is that like jumping on Etsy instead of eBay? You know what I mean?
It might be.
There's a big, when it comes to it, $69 more to be in the big pool than the kid pool.
We're thinking
might be.
It might be more accurate to compare Amazon and eBay, because Etsy has a specific facet in there, and they can be sold through eBay. You can sell an Etsy item through eBay, and you can sell an Etsy item through Amazon.
Right.
But we want to become the eBay, or how Amazon used to be, where you can somebody can come onto eBay and upload those items and do it all themselves, where we can then create the platform for it. And with an NFT's value, we wouldn't, rather than be tying that value to a person, a one-on-one meeting with Gary V or Logan Paul or something like that. People die, people lose popularity, that's the way of life. If we're able to tie it to a uniqueness, so we partner, let's say, with an artist, and that artist is somebody who creates hats, and they are able to create 5 NFTs of the different hats, all unique, and it's their art. Then that gives its value is then tied to the art rather than a person, and it can grow and change. Just like the value of a shirt, like the 50-cent shirt versus like a Target t-shirt. There's probably 500 million Target t-shirts that have been produced just like that, whereas we can't find a single other 50-cent t-shirt like that anywhere, not even online.
And bro, I've got that Drake shirt over there. That shit is old, bro, and that is so fire. I bought that from Stu, which you know about Stu. Like, the second that you guys were talking about this whole like nostalgia, how you're bringing the not the vintage clothes back, but like almost like a nostalgia factor. You guys are bringing like the whole 90s era back, man. Every time I see you guys out, bro, you guys, I love you. I don't like we've never hung out, but I'm telling you, man, I wish you guys so much success, because you guys are what I wish I was at 17. I don't know who's the one that's really good with the computers and the UI. There you go, bro. Yeah. So you're a unique character right now, right? Because you're you're one of those guys that has that drive to slang clothes and be that entrepreneur, because this lane isn't fun, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I've plateaued so many times and I wanted to kill myself literally, and like once a month, bro, like I'm going off on fucking Andrew over here about my own problems, right? Like about what's going on in here. Like, it's not happening, dude. Like, people aren't showing up. This isn't happening. Like, this shirt's not selling. This shirt is. Like, we need to get more in.
I mean, yeah. I've been,
And Andrew's like, bro, woosah. Just rub those ears, dude. Rub
We'll
those
get there.
ears and calm down for a second. Like, we got this. Like,
Right.
but it's one of those things where like thankfully I've got him and Tyrell that are like that it's just, we're a trio, dude. Like
Yeah.
like when it comes to native, like us three, that's like without Tyrell, the ship doesn't run. Without Andrew, the ship doesn't run. Without me, like, these guys could probably
Oh, yeah.
run the ship.
Which I love talking to you guys, because I've had individual conversations with all of you pretty extensively about fashion, or at least with some depth.
Yeah.
And you guys have such a unique character or role that you play within Native that, like, it's exactly right. It's the uniqueness of each individual you that is able to make
And
this
that's
popular and
you
possible.
guys are finding that really quickly though, man, because with us, like, the way that I explain to these guys is like, look, bro, there's a table here. There's 8 chairs at the table. Just don't sit on my lap, bro. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like sit there's find your spot at the table. Sit down and enjoy your meal, whether it be the UI where you know how to do all the you know the online shit, or whether it's the photography, or whether it's interacting with the actual customers. Because like there's, once it gets to this point, bro, it's all on the table, and it's so hard to control it all. Like even the handshakes and thank yous on Facebook and Instagram, like that shit gets hard because so many people are throwing stuff at your
Yeah.
way. And if you don't comment, it's like they take it to heart, bro. So like the fact that you guys already have a tribe, we call it the tribe here, because you know it's like Andrew and I are dancing all the time, bro. Like he knows how to finish my sentences. He knows how to calm me down. He knows how to if like I've explained it before, bro. Like my brain is very AI, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes water is fucking poured on that brain, dude, and all of a sudden like I'm fucking twitching out, like literally like fucking like stop, I can't do it, and he's just like, bro, right here,
Yeah.
fucking bring it in, and everything's gonna be fine. So to have a team like you guys do, bro, because I know that there's more than just you two, man, and like I love you as a human being, and I love you as a human being, man. I love the fact that. Here's a good example. I was in a meeting with Toltex.
Yeah.
I sat down with the president of Toltex when I was 2012 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years ago, I sat down with the president of the company, bro. Like, I thought this was my big break, and I was like, what am I gonna wear, dude? Like you know, I had my business partner who he only had 15% of the company, but he was a lawyer, and he was like, bro, dress like you. Be you, don't change. This outfit that you're wearing right now is pretty much what I wore to the interview or to the
awesome.
meeting. And he, like, we walked in, and my lawyer's name was Victor Vance Van Drake III, bro. Like his business card was so fire, like Victor Vance Van Drake III, and mine was just J Banks. And I'm like, God damn, all right, I gotta get better at this. So, but we walk in. We meet the president of Toltex, and he goes, I fucking love it. He literally cursed. He goes, I fucking love it. It's the brains and the business right here. And he goes, I can see right now how this is going to work. And so it's funny that you were talking about QR codes, because QR codes are so popular right now, man, and they're so valuable.
It's versatile.
Bro, so over 10 years ago, they printed a QR code on one of my color changing shirts.
Yeah.
So we were there to meet with Toltex because they wanted to mass produce the color changing clothing line that we were doing, Hypercolor.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting there, we're talking, and the owner of the company, like I'll get to it in a minute, but he had an oil painting of the most interesting man of the world. So that's that character from the Dos Equis commercials,
Yeah.
right? A real oil painting of that dude behind his desk. So he's cursing at us like, oh, I fucking love it. And so right away, like, the barrier's broken, right? Now I feel like I can talk to this guy wearing my goofy shit, you know, because that's who I am. Like,
Yeah.
and, you know, and my lawyer was like, bro, if you come in there in a suit and tie, You're not going to feel comfortable. This guy's not going to know who you are. Like, just whatever you want to wear in the morning, wear it and come meet me. So so he's like, let me see the shirt. And so I give him the shirt, and he's like, come walk with me. So we walk out to the warehouse, and we're walking around, and BlackBerry at the time. So you know BlackBerry, the old phone. Yeah. So they just started the QR code thing. And so he was like, let me see the shirt. Grabs the shirt, and he puts it right onto one of the onto one of the silkscreen machines. Yeah. Now our stuff changes colors, right? So all of the stuff was blank, and we didn't know it changes color with heat. So we don't know what's going to happen to it when it goes through the oven and in a silkscreen. So he puts it right on there, and then it prints this big ass QR code right on the shirt, BlackBerry, and he pulls it out and he throws it on top of the oven. So it was a green shirt, and when it laid on the oven, when it came out, it was bright yellow because that's the color change, right? Yeah. And it wouldn't change back, bro. And this was a meeting with him on to try to get him to house 500,000 shirts for us. So we're sitting there. The shirt is so hot, it's not turning back to like we thought that he just like torched the color out of it, where it's not going to change back. So we're walking around, and first of all, I don't know what the hell a QR code is. I'm like, this big ass thing is on the shirt now, and we're walking around. I'm like, hey, do you have like a break room? He's like, yeah. What do you need? When you want something to drink? I'm like, no, I need to see your freezer, bro. So I went over there, and I threw the shirt in the freezer, for like 30 seconds, and pulled it out, and the shirt was dark green again. So, but that was like one of those moments, man, where like I actually asked the guy, I'm like, I've got to be honest, man. Like, what was the thing for the most interesting man in the world? He goes, oh, you like that, didn't you? I said, oh, it was interesting, and it was on my mind. He goes, that is the most. That is the best marketing that I've ever seen in my entire life. He goes, they took a no-name actor named John something. The guy's real name is John. He was a struggling actor, couldn't make any money, couldn't get into the movie thing. And so Dos Equis goes, we're going to make you the most interesting man in the world. So they picked up this no-name actor, and they said, you're going to be the most interesting man in the world. And now this dude does tours and the whole nine because he like
changed his life.
Yeah, and now he just walks around and smokes cigars and drinks bourbon at the best bars and restaurants because he's the most interesting man in the world. But he's just a struggling actor. He doesn't have these stories of fighting lions and all this stuff that Dos Equis said, but he just had that look, bro. Yeah. So he was like, the reason why I got that oil painting was anything is fucking possible. You just have to think outside the box. He's like, so when I look at that painting, I realize that, you just got to think a little bit further because something like that he's a no-name actor, bro. And Dos Equis is doing better they were doing better in Corona at the time. Which, by the way, the coronavirus, that just disappeared, bro. And so Corona, like if you actually look at the data, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, guys?
How are you guys?
What's up?
What you up to, man?
I haven't looked at it in years. I haven't looked at it since it was like a thing.
Yeah. Bro, so it's insane, man. But the fact, like they just
you can't live out of fear. There's only a limited amount of time you can use fear to control anything or to even live out a space of fear. And the coronavirus was something that was really scary. Still is scary, really scary for a lot of people.
Corona paid them off, though. I'm telling you, bro. There's a reason why it just went from coronavirus to COVID.
It really did.
They had to have.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the crazy thing is, like, if I guarantee you, bro, you go look at your Windex bottles, even if you had them for 2 years, look on the back, it says coronavirus, or Lysol, like on the back it says coronavirus, and this is like shit that's like 2017, 2018. Like, how the fuck did you know about the coronavirus in 2017? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of fuckboy shit going on in this.
Coronavirus started ZOZWEAR. It actually started as thrifted online. Well,
bro, I'm sure it started a lot of companies, man, because it's a fight or flight, and those are that's the thing, man. It really just either makes you very lazy or makes you very entrepreneurisk, and it's one of those things where you can either sit back and collect the checks, or you can go out and get your own, man. And I'm really proud of you guys for. Are you still in high school as well?
No, I actually just turned 19 a week ago.
Hey, happy birthday, bro!
Thank you. Yeah,
for sure, man. So it's just one of those things, dude, where it's like you guys are still young and but you guys are out trying to like, punch in, bro.
I got a vision.
Punch in and punch out.
Yeah, we're trying to live life. Like, life is not meant to be done or lived in the back seat where you just kind of sit down and coast through life those checks stop at some point. You can't live off of them
Make my own
forever.
way.
And why would you want to when there's so much excitement and adventure that you can find in life?
Thank
All you have
you,
to
bro.
do is just go out there and try to achieve it. You like the secret to success isn't necessarily success, it's failure. If you
losses.
fail enough times, you will find the right path because all the other paths have been tried.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the worst that's going to happen. And I feel actually really, really lucky. I came from a space of where I was homeless a little while ago. with,
Yeah,
like,
bro.
zero-
I wanted to bring that up. I didn't know if we could talk about it. I
Yeah,
should have asked it
definitely.
beforehand. But that's something I do want to talk to you about because that's, fight or flight, bro. You get
Yeah.
to the point. You get to those moments, man, where like it makes you a man, bro. It
It-
either like
you have to
shit or
grow
get
up
off the
so-
pot.
You have to grow up so fast. So, yeah, definitely, it's part of my story. So I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about it because I still have friends who are homeless right now who are living couch surfing, and I used to talk with them a lot, trying to explain to them like how I got it. All I did was I saw what I could potentially do, that I had a little bit of skill set in it.
Found your seat at the table, bro.
I did. I went right in there and I said, you want to know what? I don't care what anybody else is going to think of me. I don't care what else anybody says. I have nothing. So the worst that can happen is I continue to have nothing.
Mhm.
So I just went in there and I just kept doing it. And I was working a really, really crappy job at Penn Station, which is actually where I met Brighton.
I was a manager.
Bro,
at the
I
time.
was gonna ask how you guys met and how long you guys know each other because
Yeah.
this is a really good juxtaposition, you two, man. You know what I mean? The fact
Yeah.
that like you guys you're just out of high school, you're still in high school, so and you've got the
Charisma, man.
Well, you guys both had charisma, but you've got you've ate shit, right? So
Oh, yeah.
So like the moves to make, and you're like,
Definitely.
don't do this, do this. You know what I mean? Even at a
Yeah.
young age, you know the moves to make.
You're
man.
moving smart, working smarter, not harder. But like
It
at the same
really
time, working
is.
hard
You work-
pushes you.
It's
but
not
like,
smart or harder. It's both at
It's
the
both.
exact same
both.
time.
But the smart
The smart's
really
what
helps
matters.
you jump from lily pad, rather than, and then you might figure out, hey, I can get a boat to get across this, and I can skip the lily pads altogether, but I can take the lily pads if I have to.
Yeah.
But like, I might as well, create a little raft here and make something of nothing, So you're working off the, you're working off the cuff.
Yeah.
Really, and that's something. It can't be taught in schools, man.
It
can't
can't.
be taught. You've got to just know
Experience.
it. You either know it, or you're gonna learn it, or you're gonna fall into the water and hope you can
Some people
swim.
don't get out of it. That's
Yeah.
the problem. Is it makes you or it breaks you as a person. It will either put you in a position to have understood what it's like to be able to not have anything and have less fear. And you're able to go from there and go up because that's the only place you can go. But some people get trapped in that nothing. That nothing becomes an addiction where all they do is dwell on themselves and what
Yeah.
went wrong. They're in the past. But you can't ignore the past, but you also have to be prepared for the future and living in the present. And it's unity, right? We were talking about balance earlier.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just simply you find the balance in life, you work hard, and no matter what, you cannot give up. The moment that you give up and then don't keep doing it is the moment that you fail. That's true failure, is when you stop doing anything.
Yeah.
And that's the truth too, man. That's the only reason why we're here today is because I haven't given up, man.
Yeah.
And, I've had my back against the wall, time and time again, bro. Or like, I at one point I even had my house was almost in foreclosure, bro.
Resilience.
Yeah.
And bro, I had my clothing store in that store. So not only it's like, bro, like how am I failing at this, man? Like I live upstairs, I got my clothing line downstairs. I had an apartment behind it, and I still wasn't able to pay my bills, man. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, what do I got to do to make it happen, man? But resilience, bro. Just fucking punching in every single day, man. It was that store was open 6 days a week, and I was basically sitting at home doing nothing. I was inside this store, like I would maybe make $20 to $40 a day.
I mean, I think in the past week, Brenton's been over at my house until 11 or midnight,
Just working on
5 or
ZOZWEAR.
6 days out of that entire week. And he gets there. We work. All you do is work. And you have to make space to have fun. And you have to make space to go out and do the things that reset you and bring you back to that person who you want to be. But you can still work in that,
Being
right?
a creator, you have to consume as much as you produce.
For sure, bro. So I was telling Isaac yesterday about somebody named Johnny Cupcakes, bro. So Johnny
Yeah.
Cupcakes is a guy that I he's a mentor of mine. Like he's Brilliant. This guy's incredible, dude. And he's started his clothing line out of his parents' house. Started getting popular, and so he started selling the stuff, and then started getting complaints on cat dander because some of the people just
you were telling me
they're allergic to cats, like Andrew is.
I am.
So as like you don't realize these things, right? He's selling the clothes out of his own house, and this cat dander. It's not like there's cat hair all over the clothes, right? But when somebody puts it on, they sneeze and they fucking itch and they do all this stuff. So he had to get his own store, and he didn't have the money for it at the time. So he bought a storage unit, bro. Storage unit, $79 a month, and turned it into a store.
I mean, he keeps bringing up the idea of it.
It was incredible, bro.
You can work. I just found this out recently. You can get a storage unit that's like not a super quality one, but you can get a storage unit for $36 a month, and you can run an office out of that with electricity that you have to pay for. And the electricity, I think, would be like $5 a month.
Right.
It's ridiculous. There's so many avenues to be able to take something and then push it out there.
If you're willing to grind,
you just got to find it, and that's the hard part. It's not necessarily asking the questions; it's finding the questions to ask.
Right.
And
so you know when it comes to a storage unit, you know, like obviously like having a store at the levee would be incredible because people are walking in that you don't know, right? But for Johnny, like he was so set on my clothing line is so good that people are going to come to me, and I'm just going to drive them there. Right. So somebody calls you up, says, "Hey, ZOZWEAR, you know that 50-cent shirt, I want it. I want it now." All right, bro, meet me at Wilder. You know, and then you drive to Wilder, and then you bring him in. You roll up that garage door, flip on the lights, and then there's a retail store inside this thing. You know what I mean? It was such
an interesting experience,
dude. Like it's part of his journey now, and it's such a cool part of his journey that I wish that I had a store, like I had a storage unit before the whole nine. Like thankfully, I had the store in Dayton where I was able to live upstairs, have my friends live in the back apartment where, you know, when it's time to turn the lights off, like we didn't have to live under the same room, under the same roof is cool, but this motherfucker can go back to his apartment and eat his own food and not mess with mine. You know what I mean? Like that was an amazing moment for me, but for Johnny, like being able to bring somebody down to a storage unit, pull that open, and black and white floors going all the way back, mirrors on the ceiling, aim down just to give it so you don't feel like you're closed in.
I mean, when you have a retail store like this, you have multiple of the same items. With our business model, you do not.
For sure,
so
bro.
It complicates things, and that's why we're aiming for like the franchise space.
Yeah.
So like you have this section and this section all running on two different inventories of the U.S.
You know what's tough though, man. So when we get down to limited edition things, I don't even put them on the internet. They're just in the store because of the fact that as soon as somebody buys it online, if I don't see it right away, somebody in here wants it and grabs it, then I'm screwed. So
I mean, that fully online model prevents that. So I sell an item and then that item is gone. Like
gone.
Nobody can get it.
For sure.
And I think you touched on a really important thing in there is he believed in it. He believed that people were going to come, that he had such a good product that people were going to come to him rather than him have to go to people. And I'm assuming that I'm positive that if he's successful, he still went to other people. He still put all the word of mouth out there. But he also assumed that, hey, this isn't, I have this and I'm willing to come here and I'm willing to come to you, but you got to come back, right? You got to show that this is something that you're willing to put your time and investment into. And that's something that we talk about a lot because it's always like, well, are people going to want to do that? I'm very sales marketing. We're sitting down with this person. Are they going to want to sit down with us? Or are they going to want to pay money to do something that we're providing? And then he just goes, no, they'll do it.
They should, if they're smart, because you guys are bending the boundaries of what people are used to, bro. Like the RFID business card is genius. You know the fact that you're trying to do and the fact that you're still in high school.
I graduated a year ago.
You graduated at 17, my man.
Yeah.
Nice,
Look
bro.
at you, bro.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, so you definitely can't be ignored at this point, man.
Yeah, like what I was gonna say earlier is, so your business model that you've created, right? And you're planning on like expand it, franchising and everything.
Yeah.
At your age, and the reason we bring age up so much is because people usually don't find this kind of lane until their 30s, 40s, man. So it's not
I've had a lot of experiences.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I've moved.
There's Frank. Look at him. You can see Frank a fucking mile away, bro. Jesus Christ. This is a scary character, bro. He's coming up. He's coming up behind you right now. He's like 6'8", 260 pounds, something like that. Maybe 300.
Yeah,
It's a big dude right there.
I didn't know he was coming now.
Big Frank in the building. Hey, what's going on, big dog?
Busy. What are you doing?
What's going
up,
on,
dude?
man?
Hey, what's up? Tiffany's here too. I will call you. Yes. Bye, Frank. Bye.
I mean, a
Bro.
lot that I can attribute that to is
Yeah.
that I've met a lot of people. I've moved a lot of places. I've seen a lot of things. And I grew up
That's another
locally.
big thing.
Yeah.
Moving a lot.
I grew up here locally for like 8 to 10 years.
Mhm.
And then I moved out to Texas and then California and then back as soon as COVID hit.
Mm-hmm.
I was gone for like 7 years. And
You got a lot of experience in those years, man, because
Yeah.
you know
I
you're
come back-
away from the home front.
I come back to talk to my peers, and it's a weird experience because they lead such different lives than I have. They don't have the same experiences I do, but yet they're the same people that I've always known.
Bro, their minds are like this right now, right? Because you went to Houston and you went to Cali, and so your vision is this, and everybody that's still living in Ohio.
It felt like a bubble. That's what it
it's
felt
this, bro. They got
think
blinders on.
And I think a lot needs to be said for that is if you learn how to travel when you're young cheaply, or if you're just exposed to lots of new environments, different things, your brain just keeps it fresh, right?
For sure.
It's all about those new pathways, and if you're always learning, then you always have the ability to create more because you're learning new stuff. So like I used to be pretty into reading, and I like kind of got out of it because I didn't really have the time, right?
Mhm.
And he was like, "You should start reading," and so I just did a bunch of research.
Bro, look
on
at
reading.
you guys, man.
Like,
God damn, that's a team
Yeah,
right
I'm
there.
trying to educate them.
He really is. And it's so important to do things for you. You can't just have a plan to scale a business, right? You gotta have a plan to scale your life,
Mhm.
because businesses are something that I think I've seen or been able to witness, and looking at all the history of business and all that stuff is businesses model a lot the character and life of the business owner or operator.
Right.
If that person is a stagnant person who's not going out and doing new things, creating new environments, meeting new people, then that business is going to stay stagnant. And it's
For
not
sure.
going to,
Mhm.
because you have to put in the work in yourself to sustain that growth that you're going to do in another company. And it's all about the holistic. It keeps coming back down to the balance of what you can find in there that is worth it and able to be done.
That's the truth too, man. Because it doesn't matter what the balance is, as long as you can have a healthy relationship in your mind, it's going to go a lot further than you realize, man. You know, there's, I've been through it all, man. I was your age when I wanted to start the clothing line. I started the clothing line. I failed at it. I did it again. I failed at it. I did it again and murdered it.
Oh yeah.
With the color changing stuff, bro. Like I was 24 years old and I was getting checks for 30 G's, bro. Like, and all I had to do was produce these blank shirts, no logos on them at all. They just changed colors,
Oh, yeah.
and I was selling them to a website called Fab.com.
I've definitely had my fair share of fails. And the first year of this business, this idea that was created, I'm now making per month the same amount that I would be per year in that first situation. So something's clicked, and I understand a lot more than I did before. And I think part of it was like getting other people on it.
Always, bro.
So
Always.
in the original business, it was thriftedonline.com. And it was the same like idea, but it had very little marketing, and I didn't work with anybody. It was a sole thing. It was like, all right, I'm a thrift clothes, and it's going to be online, and that's it. And it was
Right.
like you open it, and it's just some clothes.
Right.
And when
Which there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that, but
I
being
rebranded it.
17 and being 19 and being like the computer genius that you are, you're
Yeah.
like I can tweak this engine, right? I can
Yeah.
add a little bit of modification to it, and I can get this bitch going 0 to 60 in 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, I wish I could show you all the next version of the site we got working on because
I'd love to see it. I'd love to see you.
Do you have your laptop with you?
Do you have anything to show and tell right now, man?
Oh yeah,
Show and tell.
speaking of that, bro. So you were talking about stickers, bro, and how like
Yeah.
they're everywhere. So I was at Gold Star yesterday,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
bro, stickers go so far because look at how dope that is, bro. Look at all those fucking stickers, man.
Oh wow, yeah.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one of the first things that I ever did for ZOZWEAR was he was like, yo, I got a bunch of stickers. What do you think of them? I was like, those are awesome. And he started delivering them to me. And then I would go to skate shops, coffee shops, libraries, literally any place where I went to an ice cream parlor, anywhere where I could store stickers, and said, hey, I got stickers and I got a flyer with a little NFC tag in it that you've been talking about, where you can scan your phone.
Yep.
Can I hang it up? And everybody goes, yeah, of course. We have a little spot on the window.
That's
right
definitely
here.
helps a lot.
And
like
it
a
just-
lot.
It's and you don't realize it does either, man. Like, you print those stickers and you give them out, and you give out 20 to a kid, and you're like, man, I just gave away 20 stickers to a kid, and at everything costs money, bro. So even at 20 stickers, you're like, God damn, I only made 100, so I gave away one fifth of what I did.
Yeah.
But then that kid goes around and slaps them on places that you wouldn't even think of. And all of a sudden, you got Tyrell going, hey, bro, I saw your shit downtown. Or you got
And that's usually
AI
how it
going, I
goes.
saw your shit downtown.
Yeah.
What ZOZWEAR, and then your due diligence is make sure the QR code is on there or something where they know how to get right back into the right back to what you're trying to do there.
Scroll through it. That is the next iteration of what the site would look like. It leans a lot more heavy on the Discover features. The Discover page is not there yet. That's like the only part that's missing, but that page is supposed to be...
The Discover page is easy. All this is the hard stuff, bro.
Oh, yeah. So a lot of it is like including sorting options or like a general...
All right, we're going to have to raise your prices before I go and buy all of this and just put it in the store, bro. Are you serious?
I mean, go ahead and do that. We'll just buy more product and keep doing that.
$8, $4. Dark blue jeans, $4. Blue bootcut jeans, $4.
Yeah, and those
Black
are
graphic
minus a few
sweater.
features like the Discovery, and there's only half of the items that would be on there when this comes out.
How are you doing free shipping on this, bro? So if
So,
this shirt
a lot of
costs you
them
$6,
So locally, I'm delivering them myself.
Yeah.
If it's outside of state or if it's within or outside of like 20 minutes away from my residential, I'm going to ship it. And a lot of the shipping prices, so you can ship something for under £1 for like $3. So I'm able to ship one T-shirt to California for $3. So that T-shirt also costs $3. It only costs someone $6 to ship a T-shirt through us, and I'm still making a profit off that. And so say they want to make a bulk order, they can still do that, and they can
look
pay
at
for
this
the
jacket
shipping.
for $30, dude.
Is that the dragon suede jacket?
Yeah, bro.
That
Come
jacket
on.
is fucking sick.
Red suede embroidered
So-
jacket.
I got a model
$30.
that jacket is so nice.
Yeah, so
Those stitches are all handmade. There's a huge dragon embroidery on the back. You can't see the back pictures, but
And they have it's in large. It's a large.
yeah.
So you have that one jacket, condition A. So I see what you're saying. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So, but you have the XL of okay. So that's another. All right, so you have a sizing guide right there.
Yeah.
That's really convenient.
Uh-huh.
I see. Okay.
A lot of the sizing that we put on there are
Show-
So
show that- show that-
you're
show that-
educating people too.
show
man.
that
I see.
jacket. Show
Okay.
that jacket.
Yeah, let's do it.
if you
I
can,
mean,
man.
Because
sure.
people can be really hesitant to buy clothes online, not knowing how
Absolutely.
they'll fit
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that.
So,
So we're able to just tell them.
we
really
measure
simply.
those measurements, those numbers after them. They're all measured by me. Like I
Yeah.
take those measurements individually to make sure, because items change. Like you get a cotton T-shirt
Yeah.
and it shrinks, or you
Yeah.
get a polyester shirt and it stretches
For
out.
sure.
So
It's one of those. It's one of those like intangible things that
Mhm.
you're offering.
So
that like
there's our own.
Yeah.
We have our own sizing measurements. Every measurement on like each item are our own individual measurements,
And that's
so that
smart,
people are
bro.
confident that
That's
they're buying
smart that
something online.
you're taking the extra 5 minutes to measure everything out before you put it online, because that's tedious stuff that nobody wants to do, man. So
Yeah.
the fact that everything's written on there, where you got the width, the height, the length, the of whatever, bro. Your fucking prices, man. We're gonna have to.
Yeah, the
because
prices-
once this website gets popular, someone's gonna come in and clean you out.
buy everything.
Yeah. Well,
And-
I mean, that's as long as they're paying for
That's-
shipping, because there will be. That's how the system is set up. If they're shipping hundreds of pounds of clothes and it's like they order everything on the site, they can.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's
We'll just do
still-
the same thing again. And keep
we have
doing it.
we have a subscription service on there. It's called Vintage Premium right now. And what it does is it gives people for a monthly cost of $29 or $29 a month or $199 per year. It gives them 80% on all the rare items.
80% off.
80% off, and
all
they can
rare.
buy,
80% off what you guys are already charging. So
So
this
only
$30
only on the vintage items. So the vintage items are priced from $15 to $30. So someone can go on there and get the $30 item for $6.
So that jacket, that $30 jacket,
You can go
I
subscribe to
can get it for
Vintage
$6.
Premium. You can get it for
You can
$6,
get it
for
and
$6,
including
yeah.
all of the items on there.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to get a subscription
How
to that, you can buy the. You can get the subscription and then buy all 19 items on there, and get it in one
Let's-
shipment.
let's look
we
at
got
this
yeah
job
we're
check
gonna we're
real
gonna we're
quick.
gonna have to sit down and talk with you, because this
Yeah.
you're leaving way
It's
too
a-
much money on the table, because that jacket is
I-
worth at least at least
80
70,
bucks.
75 to 80
bucks. Yeah, for sure. I would put
With
that.
free
That's
shipping
the
on
beauty
it.
of
So,
our business
Yeah,
model.
our margins are always going to be, so we're always making profit. And
For sure.
So our business model is quantity over quality.
Sure, but if you add a $2 to $3 to each one, then you're going to see such an opportunity for growth faster. So at the end of the day,
You'll be able to buy nicer items.
exactly, you're going to be able to add on. So if you, it's not a huge, raise in price, but if you do a small raise, a $2 to $3 raise.
So you go to the thrift store, right?
Sure.
And you find an item there, and it's like $5.99.
Mm-hmm.
We're competing with those prices.
Sure.
You don't need to be competing with those though, because you did the legwork.
Yeah, your
bro.
convenience.
You did
paying for
the
convenience.
work
So
that nobody
there-
wants
there-
to do now.
Let me show the audience this item.
Yeah.
So convenience and affordability, or sustainability, affordability, and convenience. Those are the biggest three things. A lot of the brands in our space, a lot of the companies that we're trying to that are competitors, they only have two of those.
Mm-hmm.
So either they have sustainability and convenience, but everything is super hyped up, or it's not convenient and everything's super cheap.
Right.
We're trying to offer all three of those in one package.
For
'Cause
sure,
people
but
can
but,
just
but don't cut yourself short by any means. Even if you got this jacket for free on a closeout deal like that, that's a fire
So
jacket, bro. And especially if you guys want to repurpose it
So
and,
to be
and put
transparent
ZOZWEAR across it.
To
you
be
know what I mean?
transparent with the numbers on that, I paid $4 for it. I bought it wholesale, and if I'm selling that item for $30, right, I'm getting a way higher profit margin.
100%.
That's like
But
that's like a 500%
If someone
profit increase.
if someone subscribes to Vintage Premium, I'm still making a 30% profit margin on that.
Right.
And that's our goal. Is if we're making a 30% margin, it doesn't matter if we're getting a good deal or not.
so you'll make a bigger margin than that because they already gave you the $199 or whatever
Yeah.
to jump in on.
Yeah.
it. So
And they're paying $6 for the jacket. 'cause
It's a good
80%
deal
off.
for everyone. That's how I have it set
And
up.
people, it's so I can tell people about this who I'm going out to talk with, and they instantly go, "Oh my gosh, I will tell this person about it," because everybody knows that person who goes thrifting or wants to buy those cool clothes.
for sure, bro.
And we do it in a space where you can buy the same clothes from a thrift store without having to dig around and find the cool stuff, and we have the same exact prices.
You
and
got
it's
men's
clean.
and women's.
yeah,
men's,
yeah, yeah.
And
women's.
is it on?
So-
So that website's not up yet.
No, it'll be live July 3rd.
On your
And one of
birthday.
we're expanding on the sorting features. So that was one of the things that was lackluster, and I had to build my own system for it to be enabled because of how it's structured. Is you have one item and you have a classification on that under that. So you're able to go under this site, go sort, and you can find an extra large orange item if that's exactly what you want, and
Dope.
you know it's sustainable and you know it's secondhand.
Dope. That's really cool, man. And that's the fact that you know how to do all the computer stuff on your end, which is incredible, man. So if somebody came in and bought 75% of everything that's on your website right now, or say I went in and paid that $200 and just cleared you out of all the good stuff that you have, would you be happy, or would you be like, fuck, I gotta?
I'd be pretty happy with that because I mean
That's what it's all about.
How these subscriptions are sold are those shop cards, the NFC shop cards I was telling you about.
Oh yeah.
The vintage section comes with, if you subscribe to that, you get a vintage premium card, and it's a golden card of those shop cards, and that card is how you access vintage premium, and you're paying monthly for that card.
Dope.
That card is the thing that gives you access to these discounts.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, you got to pay monthly. That's smart.
My
Yeah.
turn. My turn.
Okay.
So, you love my turn. All right. So, with his concept, so someone comes in and cleans you out. They pay the $200. They get the 8% off. So how long?
80% off.
80% off.
Yeah.
80%
I thought you
off.
said 8.
80.
Yeah.
What? 8's nothing. 80s. 80s. 8%.
8%
8%'s not to get out of bed. 80%'s like I'm jumping out of bed. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it. So, how long does it take for you to turn around and get your website working fully functioning again with this product? Because that time period is loss of money, right? So let's say they clear you out, all right? So then now you're sitting on what they paid for, but they're getting everything 80% off.
Yeah.
So how much time do you take to re-up the whole website? Because
So-
you have to buy new items,
So if
right?
you're buying that vintage premium, you only get the selection to the unique items. So that's those vintage items, which
80%
right
isn't
now
off the whole store.
Yeah. So we have multiple subscription tiers, or like those shop cards. There's different versions. The vintage card only gives you the 80% discount on the rare items.
So the vintage stuff.
So the vintage section.
But
so
then you're
that
selling
has
stuff
like
for
20
$8
items.
or $4.
Yeah,
So
and then we have our
those-
other stuff that is.
We have basic and pro shop
So
cards.
if someone
Blue and
takes
Pro.
$2,000, they can clear you out.
Yeah.
So how long does it take you to re-up? Do you
It would
have
take a few-
backstop?
It would take a few weeks to get that back up.
All right. Okay.
We have like. We haven't come across that situation yet.
Well, be prepared.
Yeah.
Someone's
mean,
hearing
Bro,
us.
I'm about shit. 2 more of these. I'm gonna be on the
But-
website
yeah,
tonight.
he's gonna
bro.
be he's gonna be like, dude, we gotta use this for Harambe shirts. Well, I've got a good
But
side
see,
here.
that's
Like-
good. That's good.
If someone
for us.
does that and they get like they put the $2,000 in, I'm gonna take 1,000 of that. I'm gonna go get new product.
Okay,
And I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
go find.
And how long
stuff.
does that take?
That'll
That's my
take
question.
me. That'll
yeah.
take me a week
A
to
week?
get product.
Alright, cool.
To get product, and it'll take
And
me a week
upload-
to put
to upload everything,
it. So
get it
2
all
weeks to get back
organized.
in the-
Yeah.
That's a good turnaround.
That's cool.
Yeah.
2 weeks is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, if it puts you out a month of commission, that's painful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
month with no big sales, because like, yeah, you can get those sales, and you're estimating how much you can make
And
off
It
it.
takes around.
And not every
five-
item is on the website. Only half the stuff is on the website, and then we can. And we already have the stuff ready to be uploaded
For the
that.
next round?
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
We're
We got them
able
in the
to-
chamber. That's
Good.
good.
Yeah, we're able to
Good.
cycle things too.
That was
'cause
kind of
if
my
you-
question.
Yeah,
If you were to
it's-
go out there and do that, we would take that money, right? And we just go do it all over again, and then you go, oh wow, they have more new stuff in their vintage shop next month.
Yeah,
And
you pay
it's
us that money
frequently rotated.
And
Cool.
we just get more and more people to do that, and more brands to sell through us. And then at that point, at some point in there, we'll reach a catalyst.
Yeah, there's no
where we
way.
just
Like as soon as we
skyrocket.
get like tens of thousands of items on this, there's no way someone's gonna be like, all right, here's 80 grand, give me everything.
Because the way I look at it is like,
You never know, bro.
I mean,
Yeah,
you never
I mean,
know.
if somebody wants to do that for 80
You never
grand,
know. You get.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain if they give us
not
80
the
grand.
slightest bit.
but the way I look at it is, so you are dependent on your business model and how it successfully
Yeah.
Mhm.
ran, right?
Yeah.
But there are people out there that have money at their disposal. They don't care. So if their money that they don't care about, they're like, I'm going to buy all this stuff. These guys are cool. But it hurts you in the sense of, I can't re-up fast enough,
Yeah.
and it hurts your business. But to them, they're not thinking. They bought it, they moved on, and go out to the pool in their backyard,
Yeah.
right? So like, and you're like, man, I gotta fix this website. We're not gonna bring any more money in. That's a month out of commission. Now Zoz is like, now we're just sitting here.
We're at the
on our
point
hands.
where
So-
if
so
someone
that-
did that, we would be able to. That would be more profit than what we're getting
Yeah.
per week. So
Right.
if we're counting like the week-to-week sales, and someone comes in and buys the entire site,
That's
in
what you've
one
been.
day,
That's what you've been waiting
we can,
for.
We can.
You've been
Like,
waiting
we
for
can
that.
recoup.
We
We
can
can wait
just
like
jump.
3 or 4 months, and it would still be as profitable as just selling the same amount of items we have
Right.
every week. So it's at that
But
point
you want
where
to turn around faster.
Yeah.
You're owning a
Yeah.
business,
which
you know
is
what I
like
mean? So you
in-
want
which
to.
is
and
why
so
we
in
have
that
that
space,
2 week
in that
period.
space, that's where like franchising would come in.
Sure.
And so
sure,
like
okay.
say one store sells out of everything. Well, what we can do is we can take the products that are at the other store and we can sell them to whoever's in that other space that the other space can't fulfill, while it gives them downtime. So if we're thinking long term, that's how that would work.
Okay.
But for now, we would need
When it-
downtime.
when
we
it
accept
comes
donations.
down
We
to
have
that-
people like we've had models who give us just like tons of items of clothing that we can then go use. I actually was at the ice cream shop I was talking about earlier, dropping off stickers, and I had a lady there go, "Yo, I have a bunch of old vintage clothing from my childhood that I don't do anything with," and I was like, "Oh, awesome! We'll take all that, and we got
like
it for free."
a lot of
nice.
a lot of the big names that
Yeah.
you think of, like, because you have to donate clothing often. You go to Goodwill,
Yeah, a lot of people
Salvation
donate.
Army.
Yeah.
But
Goodwill
like, I
lives
want
on that, bro.
ZOZWEAR to
Talked
be
to
like
Goodwill
one of
earlier.
those names where you think of like, oh, I got clothes to donate, but I don't want to really leave the house. You can do it from your house.
Everything
Donate from your
everything.
house.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that you can do it completely for free from your house.
Because we
So-
figured out that if we cover shipping, we're still making exponential gains.
Yeah,
covering
yeah,
the
yeah,
shipping for that.
Yeah, well, their one order is not going to be a huge
Yeah.
shipping.
And
It's
then-
you shipping out 1,000 items
Yeah.
to different households. It's
Mhm.
going to run into your.
Yeah, and that's where we would do our own first priority shipping service. Like we would have our own van service, and because like that's how I do it now. I just I
That
get
gets
in my
expensive
manual
too,
car.
though,
and
man. And it's like, trust me, like I've done that as well, and that's gratifying to an extent,
Yeah.
you know, because you got everything out that night and everything's good to go. But
And then it hits again, and then you got to do it again. and it
yeah,
gets to be a
bro,
lot.
and then you know you miss one, or you couldn't find one house, and it's like fuck, like
yeah, I
like
can pay
there's-
people to like $15 an hour to go deliver these packages too. And it's
I mean
like,
that's so yeah. I mean, if you're selling the jacket at 30 and you're paying somebody 15 an hour to go deliver it, plus you know, there's especially at this day, man, where gas is getting out of control and
Yeah.
everything's just to the
Mhm.
point where like you've got it's all fickle, man. And if
and your labor of love is for you,
Mhm.
they're expecting paychecks. You know what I mean? So like we've talked about it before. Is like he says he can't expect someone to work as hard and love his business as much as he is. And though we have a different love for it, and we have a different. Like we have the same agenda, but at the same time we have a different route that we're both taking with it. I see a clothing brand that brought me in to help let me put my little drop of paint in the white bucket or the black bucket, whatever you choose. Like I put my own color in, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that my strengths at the end of the day can benefit it in some way.
Yeah.
I'm my natural
Yeah.
self.
Yeah.
Like because I think a certain way that not everybody thinks. It's
And so-
okay. It's all right. But like he has a certain way that he goes about things, and I'm like, you know what? He's got that covered. He knows himself really well,
Yeah.
and I know myself really well. Like I've known myself since I was really young. I didn't really worry about. I was like, I want to play music, and that's all I care about. Dad's like, don't play music at first. Now we agreed it was good for me. But at the time, I was like, he's like, don't play music. I was like, that's all I want to do. Like, are you kidding me? I'm ready to run off to California. Let's go tour.
Yeah.
What else?
I've been
what
there.
else is we do? What else are we
Yeah.
gonna do with our time? And he's like, there's a lot of things you could do with your time, Andrew.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, I don't know about, I don't value things like you do. He's like, you
Yeah.
want to start a family. I'm like, I don't even know if I want kids. I have one now. But like at the time, I was not
Yeah.
even thinking on that scale. But it still reigns true today with a kid even. I'm like, how can I maximize what is around me to make everybody successful?
Right, that's
In
manifestation.
myself.
There's all this
Yeah.
like manifestation's a really big trigger word right now. People love to talk about spirituality and manifesting your destiny and all that stuff. And like the simple fact of is you get from your environment what you give back to your environment.
Oh yeah.
And
You get what
the
you
energy,
put in.
all
Yeah.
this talk about energy, it's just the effort that you put out into something is
That's
what
why
you will
I
get.
invite so many people to collaborate on ZOZWEAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, collaboration's huge. So we're
Collaboration's
really big.
huge.
We're big.
And that's one way that the
collaboration
website is never going to go stagnant, right? Is by you using it as a Macy's where you've got 5 different brands in. So if your stuff gets wiped out, then you still have somebody like Native that still has stuff on the website that we can fulfill through our stuff. And I was asking Isaac, I was like, oh, all right, well, is that something where if I want to put some of our Super Bowl shirts on your website, do you guys house it or do we house it? And Isaac was like, no, I'd rather you guys house it than us. We can if you want to, but it's going to get hairy at that situation.
Yeah.
So
Because I mean, we're talking about like margin. So like, say you put you sell a shirt for $20, you produce it for $5, and ZOZWEAR takes out their 20% margin. You already have 45% taken out of that. And if we were to do shipping, it would also come out of that margin. So that's numbers that we have that we'll take that number that is sold, we'll take our 20%, and we'll give it back to you.
Right.
You have that 18, I think it is, yeah, $18, and you're $16 out of that $20 shirt, and shipping costs come out of that. And so you still have a 50% margin on that item, and ZOZWEAR took a 20% margin with just selling the item without having to do any of the physical work, and that's up to you.
right.
So,
And also, that would be us getting too involved, right? We don't want to hold all of your items and all of your stuff because we don't want to step on your toes either.
Yeah.
We're about partnering with somebody and taking what they have, right? And then how can we help you?
Like when
Where
you're
do we fit
shipping,
in
like
with
when
you?
you ship, you have your own branding.
That's
and
a
marketing.
smart way of not being liable for other people's shit, bro.
Mhm.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's all you gotta say is
Yeah.
we don't want to be liable. Like
Yeah.
if we house 100 Harambe shirts and 3 get stolen, then we've got to pay that 3.
Yeah.
We don't want to do that. So we'd rather just have you house it, and then we'll tap you on the shoulder when one sells. You know what I mean?
Or
hey,
maybe the
hey,
product's
what's over?
defective and we didn't realize it, and you, the creator, didn't realize it, and then we get all that stuff and store it, and we start shipping it out, and it's defective, and then the creator can just simply go, well, you broke it. And
Right.
I'm not paying for any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so
For
it,
sure.
it just complicates everything, and in a world that's already so complicated, let's make it a little bit simpler for the people who are wanting to do this and create like this.
Yeah, a lot of the companies that we try and approach are people who don't have anything like set up. Like one of the companies that we're trying to work with is a jewelry company, and they don't have a website. They've been like having trial and error, trying to get their website, trying to publish their brand, but they haven't been able to do
they
it.
need people like
Yeah.
you because
So-
they want somebody like Isaac that's going to go out and talk to strangers and go, hey, here's a card. This has our vintage clothes, and it's got fucking Kate's candles on it too, bro. So you
Yeah.
can even fucking find candles if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's smart,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's smart because you're people don't want to do the legwork. They go,
Don't
hey, I want to create my candles, and I just want people to love them.
Yeah.
I don't know how to go and talk to somebody out in the public and go, hey, do you want to buy my candle for $15 when you can go buy, a candle at Bed Bath & Beyond for $15? But if they got somebody like you guys that's, hey, I can just, you guys are already playing jump rope. You guys are already jump roping, and if I can take my product and if I could toss it in, and all of a sudden my product is jumping rope with you guys, let's roll, bro. You know what I mean? So that's like you guys are really creating a structure for a lot of other brands, and like we're already in. So whatever we need to put on your website to boost your sales, to boost our sales.
Love the Harambe. I love the Harambe stuff.
Yeah, bro.
That too.
That thing is 6 years running, man. That's still the number one selling shirt here, bro.
I mean, yeah.
It's paying the bills, that's for sure.
It does. It really does. The Harambe thing is interesting because it's a unique niche. It's one of those places that people like, the ironic sports fan, the person that wants to support it, but at the same time, like, we have a lot of stuff in here that can be for anybody. So like there's a lot of opportunity there, especially with the Super Bowl stuff, the Joe Burrow stuff. People love Joe Burrow across the country. People want to know about the Super Bowl, just the vintage aspect of it, because it's kind of old school. It's kind of it mimics the late 80s, like Bengals. Yeah, dude.
Like, I could go in there.
49ers like design, like
I could come into Native, right, and I could walk through the store and I could come up with an outfit for just about every different clothing style that there's out there, for everything from grunge to sports. All of this stuff, because you guys have such a wide variety, and all that, it's just about combinations. What goes good together?
Too.
Yeah,
and it's so nice.
Throw it against the wall, bro. See if it sticks, man. And that's what's nice with us is we're able to print here in house, and we can print 16 million colors. So we can do that 50-cent T-shirt that you were talking about. You only seen one of. We can scan that logo in, and we can literally reproduce that logo. And we can do it on vintage shirts if we need to. But the nice thing is being able to have that in stock. That DTG printer, so we can just print stuff here, throw that shit against the wall, and if the logo, like some of my favorite designs, bro, fell right off that window. I threw it up against it. I'm like, this thing's fire, bro. Nobody bought it.
Isn't that how it tends to be, though? It's so funny.
All right, that's just
and then a logo you'd never expect is all of a sudden flying off the shelves, and you're like, all right, man. Like,
yeah, bro.
I guess that's the way it is.
I thought this one was gonna be fire,
Same,
bro.
Same.
I really
like that.
I do really like.
I read an article that said it was talking about, it's not animatronics, but it's something how once you correlate a character to your logo, it blows up, right? And so I'm a big fan of Bobby Hundreds from the Hundreds. So Bobby, I've watched every single one of his news interviews or interviews in general, and this guy said, hey man, like, just like I said, bro, like people tell me, oh, if you just had one celebrity wear your stuff, bro, it would you'd be so dope. And it's like, bro, like I've had so many celebrities wear my stuff. Like, and some lady yesterday, she's like, oh yeah, well, who's wearing your stuff? I'm like, Gary Owen. She's like, yeah, I know who he is. I'm like, Chip the Ripper. He's a big fan of the brand. He's actually, we're one of the only 3 brands that Chip the Ripper wears. Ooh. And she's like, yeah, I know who Chip the Ripper is. I'm like, Katherine Heigl. Like, Katherine Heigl's been wearing, bro, she's been wearing the clothing line. Like I've been friends with her for so long that she punched me in my chest and asked me where her clothes were. Like, I saw her in Lexington, and I was like, Katie, what's going on? Boom, right in the chest. Where's my shirt? And I'm like, if Katherine Heigl's asking me for a shirt, I need to pull one out of my fucking ass.
Yes.
And be like, boom, right here.
Right
Here's
here.
For you.
What a surprise. Right.
Right, but like even Katie wears my clothes, bro. And it's Emilio Estevez wears my clothes.
He's one of the...
He's a big fan of the brand, bro. But like
Coach Bombay,
hey
bro.
man, I'm
D3
See, that fits well. That fits really well for your brand, having like the high names for yours. But our brand is made for everybody. Like
right,
everybody.
Facts.
But what I'm saying is like I'm still hunting for my meal player. You know what I mean? Like Katherine Heigl wears our clothes. Chip the Ripper, fucking like
Drake.
Like, bro, we're on pace where we're gonna produce merch for Kid Cudi's concert in September in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But it's not the home run, bro. It's not like what everyone says.
I was actually gonna say, like, even though like it is for everybody, like what you're explaining, this
it's like that's sad.
What's going on out there?
It's just one of our homies.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, nice. Tell him to sit on the couch with you.
He came to the original photo shoot.
Yeah, he was one of the original models.
Come on in, man.
Come on in, bro.
Yeah.
Look,
This is one of the-
his girl's like, really? What's gonna happen right now? Appreciate you coming in, bro. What's cracking?
Step around, bro.
Step
Come
on
around.
in.
Come around.
Yeah,
Come
come
around.
on.
We're on
Well,
a podcast. Right
We're in the middle of a podcast,
Yeah,
bro. We're trying
mid-podcast.
to teach everybody about ZOZWEAR.
yeah, bro.
It's been your personal experience with ZOZWEAR.
Hey, look at him, dude. Just throwing him right in the conversation right now. What's your experience with ZOZWEAR? Let's go.
I was a model for like one of the first like ZOZWEAR shoots.
So was one of the first ZOZWEAR shoots here?
Yeah,
That was one of the first. I feel privileged, bro. I feel privileged because, like I said, 5 years from now, you guys are gonna be so good at what you do that if I wouldn't have given you that time,
It was actually the first.
you wouldn't give me that time 5 years from now, bro. And that was one of those things that, like I've always said, is like you got to water those plants, bro. When people come in and they ask for advice, don't like I've had so many fucking assholes, bro. Like fuck Frank Pistachio's clothing line, man. Like oh my god, dude. Like I was so big into moving into this town. And so I had this guy who had a clothing line, and I look up to him, bro. Like I was like, this dude's going places. His clothing line's the shit. And so I tapped on his shoulder. I was like, hey man, like, can I get some advice? Like, gave me a little bit of advice. And then once I started getting good, the dude was like, fuck Native, fuck him, fuck Native. Like he was, bro. He was on such a hot streak on to not like wanting to be a part of this. And I'm like, that's like, what are we doing, dude? Like. You know what I mean? And so the fact that I'm able to do the exact opposite of what he does, and I'm able to say, yo, bro, I'd appreciate what you guys doing, and anything that you guys want to do to get to the next level, let's roll,
I
right?
appreciate you taking that level. I mean, wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for that.
I mean, you'd be here regardless,
Well,
bro.
yeah,
Regardless, because you're gonna find a
We're
way to
here
fight
right now
and
in this moment.
You're gonna, 100%, bro. That's what I'm like. I appreciate it. It's just one of those things where you guys are so good at what you do that you guys are always gonna land on your feet like cats, bro. You know, it's just you're gonna have to throw that shit against the wall, and you're gonna see what sticks and what doesn't, and some stuff is, and some stuff isn't gonna stick. And all you need to do is just once a week, just clear off that window and just fucking go back to the drawing board, man. Because you guys are in the position where you're young and you guys got a strong team.
I feel like that's been every
bro,
other week now.
the fact that your boy pops in like in the middle of this whole thing just goes to show that you guys have a pull. And you guys have a team that's stronger than you realize, man. What we were talking about earlier, bro, is you got to find your place at the table, right? So, like for me and these guys here, like you know, we're at a table that has 8 seats, and all I ask for my guys is, bro, don't try to sit on Andrew's lap or don't try to sit on my lap because I know how to do this. Andrew knows how to do this. And there's 6 other seats here, right, that need somebody to drive that shit. And so for Tyrell, like yo, T, find a spot at the table, man, and fucking eat your food. So Tyrell found the spot that he's comfortable with, and he's able to bring money in to the brand, and he's able to have his own lane where he's not sitting on my lap or Andrew's lap. He's sitting at the table on his own, eating his own piece of meat. And that's the same thing that's happening with Kurt right now. You know, we're building this tribe, bro. And, you know, people jump off all the time, man. You know, and there's no, like, I've got no ill will to any of my friends that didn't want to be a part of this today, right? Because you just got to find your seat at the table, bro. That's all it is. And if one of these seats doesn't feel right, bro, by all means, I'll meet you at the basketball court after we're done powwowing, right? But
Yeah.
you know, if you're able to be the model of the group, or if you're able to be the athlete of the group that's able to wear the shit on the court, or if you're the guy that's able to do the back end, that's able to, you know, do the IP work that nobody wants to do. You know what I mean? Like there's rooms for everybody to eat at the table, bro. You just got to figure out where you fit, and once you sit in there, then you spread those elbows and you go, okay, you know, there's nobody. I'm not sitting on anybody. I'm not like this is me, and I can figure out how to make this chair mine. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing that I've told these guys, bro. Like, there's a lot of money on this table, and there's ways to make a lot more money. We just got to figure out how to make it, right? So, like, whether it's online, whether like Tyrell, we're starting a fitness brand for him. You know, and that's the thing where he's been here long enough. He's been here since 2019, bro, and he's he's worked the press, he's worked the crowd, he's done everything from A to Z. So he knows he's already dipped his feet in the water. He's sitting over there at the 9-foot end of the pool with his feet in, just going, hey, bro. And he's seeing me jump off the high dive, and he's like, I'm ready. Yeah. You know what I mean? So let's do it, bro. Like not only did you find your place at the table, but now he's got his own ideas that he wants to implement to get to make himself thrive.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier.
And that's one of those things, bro, where like I want to be the catalyst for as many people as I can, because like the reason why I said fuck Frank Pistachio is because of the fact that he didn't give me the time of day, and I took an extra 5 years out of my life to figure it out, because he wouldn't tell me or show me he wouldn't give me the recipe to Coca-Cola. Oh, yeah. Which, you know, by any means, bro, you can't expect anybody to do that. But at the same time, you know, you've got to.
Mike is not even here yet, so.
Okay.
Another one's coming. Someone else is coming in your
Micah,
squad?
the original photographer for the shoot that we did in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they had a movie. That's why they're here.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh, you just got on the movie?
No, we're actually going to the movie right now.
Going to the movies. It's 9:05.
Nice.
What time does it start? 9:15.
I think 9. Not gonna lie.
Oh shit! Look, that's why
Yeah.
she got up and walked away. She's like, I'm just gonna let him know that time is up, and I'm just gonna walk away from the window.
I just want to say I appreciate your selflessness and your willingness to work with other brands and help build a sense of community.
Oh, sweet.
I appreciate that, man, because you know, like they didn't show it to me, bro. Like I didn't get shown any of it. So like I'm 10 years behind on being where I want to be, but I'm 100% okay with giving the recipe to Coca-Cola to the next generation, because like the taste is good, bro. And once you get a taste of this lane, it's beautiful. And then the fact that you guys have a team around you, you guys are going to be able to bounce ideas around and get bigger and better, because, you know, every Monday me and him throw ideas around, and me and Tyrell throw ideas around. Like, I'll get up and I'll call him at 10 a.m. and we'll have an hour and a half conversation. I'll come into work and then I'll talk to Tyrell for an hour and a half. How was Saturday and Sunday? How did the shirts, what sold, what didn't sell, what aggravated you? The kids aggravated me this week again. It's like, all right, we got to figure this out, bro. Like, you know, because we got to make sure that this ship is run smooth and everybody's happy. If as long as Tyrell's eating and as long as Andrew's eating, we're all good here.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I stress out all the time, bro. Every single day I'm up and I'm like, I'm hunting for my meal still, right? And that's one of those things where it's like, I hate doing it because I feel like if I don't go to bed without hunting, I'm not going to eat. You know what I mean? But it's like at the end of the month, everything kind of levels itself out. So it's like I'm like a soldier right now, bro. And there's a firefight going on, and there's all this dust, and there's all this shit happening, and I'm looking over and I see Andrew, I look over and I see Tyrell, and it's, you know, there's flames coming, and it's like I'm trying to figure out how to get to that next stage, bro. How to get to that checkpoint. And it's like I worry too much about what's happening here when I know that all I got to do is fucking just make it there. Like all I got to do is just duck my head down. I got Tyrell and Andrew right here. They're both right next to me with the guns, bro. I can run to that next stage, and Tyrell's gonna blast anybody that's in my way, right? So like that's the mentality that you have to get to that next level, man.
Yeah, just the next
and the
small
team,
point.
bro. Without these guys, I wouldn't be here, man. And that's one of those things, bro.
Here's Micah.
Hey, all right, you got the whole. What are you guys going to see tonight?
I don't know, to be honest. I think the Jurassic World movie, but I'm not entirely sure.
As long as popcorn's involved, is all that matters, man.
Right, yeah.
What's going on, big dog? How you been, bro?
I'm good. All right, well, I got a movie to catch.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the kind words,
Yeah,
bro.
appreciate
Enjoy
you,
your
bro.
movie.
Whenever you want to come back in, we'll be here for you.
We'll see you around.
My man.
Yeah, man.
It was
Appreciate
nice seeing
you.
you, Seth.
Yeah.
The ad? Did I not? Shit, my bad. I'll do it after this.
See,
See you, fellas.
making business arrangements right now, bro.
Yeah.
Always on the clock, bro. That's the thing is like you're in the thick of things right now, right? So you're in the middle of like what you're creating and you're networking and you're building a brand that involves other brands, right? So you're not like just dealing with your own brand. Like where we deal with one specific lane, and we do work with artists. We do collaboration. We add to our already like diverse, selection of clothing, whatever. Yeah. But you are in the most diverse selection of clothing that there is.
Oh, yeah.
Artists that aren't even creating anymore in some cases. You know what I mean? So like, we went through COVID, so a lot of people aren't doing what they were doing in the first place anyway. So that's really not that far fetched. But like, you're in a world of resell, but you're reselling stuff that vintage, unique, off the cuff clothing that isn't really like worn by everybody. They have got to find it. They have to seek it out.
Yeah.
And in that whole world that you're in, you're also like modernizing it. You're modernizing old stuff.
Yeah, thrifting has been around for like 200 years
in
the same exact format.
But you're changing that.
Yeah.
Like you really are. And you got people that are behind you that are strong, clearly big personalities, strong personalities, which is really important because you're in a...
I think
yeah.
Are you on one?
Oh, yeah, go. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, Chris.
I figured he's one, that peanut butter bourbon, bro.
I do love the peanut butter bourbon, but caught me off guard with this. Appreciate you. Wood & Cask Brewing Company.
Bro, yeah. Speaking of that, so I actually went with the Levy Lager, bro. Yeah, man. So I actually bought the one that was specifically for Newport on the Levee. So Wood & Cask is down here at Newport on the Levee. And it's actually really good, bro. This reminds me of that garage beer from Braxton.
Yeah. I like the can in general. It's got the bridge on it.
So
nice logo.
So Yeoman said he's like purple, bro. Does it taste purple? And I go, you know what?
Yeah.
I think that's for the Purple People Bridge.
That's what I was thinking. It's got the bridges right here.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
So that would make sense.
So
good branding. Good branding.
It is good branding.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? That's a clear package too. So that's something that. All right. So knowing that, I want to do my own beer. I want to do a
native
Mad
beer?
Scientist.
Yeah, Mad Scientist.
A native.
That's
so I
right.
want to do a native beer, and I want it to be a $3 beer, or potentially a $2 beer at all
like
the
the Mad
bars.
And the Mad
Scientist.
Scientist.
Scientist brew.
Mad Scientist CBD native beer.
Yeah,
We got some
so
stuff
we
on
want
the table. We've been
to
talking.
do a native beer, which is local, right? So
Yeah.
it's only a $2 beer, like the next Hoodoo Pole or the next, a cheap beer that's local to Cincinnati.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
can get
the
it at an
native
FC
beer.
game. It's what
Right.
the go-to beer when you go to a soccer game or something like
Right.
that.
So
Baseball field.
that's what we're trying to do is to get like an everyday beer that everybody likes, like not an IPA, something more of like a lager that's got just a good taste but doesn't have that crazy bite at the end. Something that's cheap to make, $2 a beer, $3 a beer, something that's just the high life of the bars, bro.
I mean, the beverage game is like, that's where it's at.
Yeah, man. And so that's the thing is like so Jordan Blackmore has been one of my best friends for a long time, and I wouldn't say best friend, but a very good friend for a long time. Mm-hmm. This guy's always thinking outside the box. He's from Union, Kentucky, but he started his own hair company in Florida, moved it to New York, and he's actually one of those guys that's. I was just showing you today. They made his own Nike shoe, so that's how big the guy's got. Where this Nike shoe has his hair studio logo on it. Like, how crazy is that? That Nike was like, putting a native logo on a Nike shoe makes sense. Putting a salon logo on a Nike shoe makes zero sense.
Yeah, it's so off the cuff random.
But
man.
here's the best part,
Yeah.
bro. So Jordan always told me, he's like, we call this place 3 Squares Studio, not a hair salon, not anything. It's a 3 Square Studio because we don't want to limit ourselves to just hair. So like he was on top of it really early in the game, just to not pigeonhole his company in doing that.
Mm.
So right away, like he was able to, since he called it a studio, Zac Efron ended up renting it out for some movie that he was doing because they had the biggest mirror in the northern hemisphere. It was this mirror that they had, which is just one big sheet of glass that was right in front of like 4 different booths. But they doubled it, so the mirror was on both sides. And so what he can do is he could train for Dirty Dancing or whatever movie he did there without being in front of anybody, because he could do it right in front of the mirror, right inside the studio. So right away, dude, Jordan Blackmore was killing it out there in New York with what they did.
Seriously.
But to get to that point and to make yourself synonymous across the board. Like I never pigeonholed myself to just clothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like native it's. I hate the word lifestyle because I hate when people go, "Oh, my clothing isn't a clothing; it's a lifestyle."
Yeah.
There's only fucking 3 people in the history of life that ever done that. It's like Tommy Bahama, Tommy Hilfiger, and Ralph Lauren. Because these guys, if you're wearing Ralph Lauren, you're on a fucking yacht and on the water, right? Like there's like those are lifestyles.
Mm-hmm.
But to get to that point, it's hard. It's hard to take an idea and make it a lifestyle. But for what Jordan did, he took a hair salon in New York City, and he's just a kid from Union, Kentucky, bro, and turned this into one of the most influential hair studios in all of New York. Where like I was there, Nora Jones was there, bro, smoking weed in the place after hours, and it's just like, how crazy is this? And I'm in a hair studio that Nora Jones is hanging out smoking weed. And like I showed you guys pictures earlier, Stefan Janoski is me and Stefan in the same photo, and it was like I didn't even know who the fuck Stefan was at the time. You know what I mean? It's crazy that like
it's crazy.
These legends are walking around a hair salon because he never pigeonholed himself, bro.
Yeah. And like that's the thing with like if you think about like Tommy Hilfiger, Tommy Bahama, Ralph Lauren, all those stuff, somebody sells them. Somebody sells their clothes. Somebody takes care, and that's what we want to do. Because why would we want to limit ourselves to
a lot of consistency?
So
one lifestyle brand. Why not have 8 on our website and then a whole bunch of other small startups that we can continue to allow to grow and thrive under us? And we're just able to continually meeting interesting people with interesting ideas and doing new things.
And that's what's going to make you different from everybody else is the fact that you guys are where the ground meets the rubber, right? So you guys are in the thick of it. You guys are trying to make something relevant, right? You're fighting. You're David versus Goliath right now, and you guys know that. That's the best part is that you guys know that you guys are fighting the big beasts, and you guys know how to do it. You don't sit there and try to punch the thing in the face, right? Like you take out his leg one at a time, and that's what you guys are doing, man.
You can't take out Goodwill. Goodwill's
no.
We talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
So you can't take out Goodwill. Goodwill's gonna exist
stay.
no matter what you do, no matter how many shirts you sell. But you can work with Goodwill without Goodwill even being aware of your existence.
I'm not aiming down to take anybody down.
Anything.
Exactly,
I mean,
but like you're in the same
provide.
lane. You're in the same lane to a degree because you're reselling older clothes and Goodwill does that. But like at the same time, I said earlier, is you're modernizing some things with your technology, with your wits, your smarts. You're using that modernization.
It's a fresh look on it.
Exactly, and that makes you so different in the sense that like a lot of people though resistant of modernization, but at the same time, everyone's paying with that. Everyone's paying with Apple Pay now.
Everybody wants to go to Amazon to buy stuff.
Exactly. Think of how people are just naturally going into the modernization without even realizing it. They're like, oh, the world is changing. But can I pay with Apple Pay?
feel like
and you're like, well, man, yes, you can pay with Apple Pay.
ZOZWEAR is that. Like it is exactly in that position.
Exactly,
where it's
man.
Not,
I know.
I feel like this is a perfect time to just like take it like right where it should be, because if it was earlier, it would have been too much. If it was later, it would have already probably been done.
Yeah, transition period.
Yeah.
And we're in a transition period as a country, too, as with the politics and the gas prices and everything that's happening. We're in a transition period where, like, raising the prices of things can happen naturally. Yep. But, like, it is happening. It is reality.
Yeah.
And when we come out of this smoke, maybe 2 to 3 years, maybe 5 years from now, everything's going to be a new normal. We're seeing a new normal. We see masks.
Just needs
people
time
are
to
still
settle.
wearing masks, and
This
they're
is
probably
where
never going to stop.
This is where we're going to find the next generation of people who are going to make a change.
Yes.
This is where we start seeing the people who are going to become the world leaders. They're going to be the people who are spearheading those nonprofits that do millions and millions of dollars in benefits for people all over the world. And it's just like you talked about. It's that transition period where we don't know. You don't know it. Like we're in the midst of a generation that's coming of age. And then we're in the midst of a time where there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, and the people who are able to go, fuck the uncertainty, we're just going to do our own thing and just do it, right?
I'll run for president.
And in that,
you just got to
get about whenever you turn
30 years,
35.
30 years.
You got to be 35 years old, But I mean,
there's not going to be a president in 20 more years,
it's
bro.
be a totally different world.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna see something totally different. We're prepared for that. We'll get that on a conspiracy podcast here soon. We dive down a lot of rabbit holes here, so we like you said, we don't like to limit ourselves. We use a huge portion of our store for a podcast area. As you can tell, normal stores would have mannequins across the board or advertisements and stuff for their own clothes. We use a podcast. That's his best advertisement that I've
getting
ever
a lot
seen.
more looks.
Exactly, 100%.
Bro,
yeah.
everybody that walks in goes, "What do you guys do here?" And then we go, "We interviewed local natives of Cincinnati," and they go, "Oh shit, my brother, my cousin, me, my wife." We want to be interviewed, and it's a perfect juxtaposition to reiterate that we're local, right?
Yeah.
And so right away,
I love
it's
that
like,
the name
holy cow!
fits so perfectly for that.
Yeah, man.
And with the podcast, not only are we interviewing people, we are using the internet for what it was designed for.
Yeah.
We're using it to pretty much bring new ideas to the table, because when we're talking to people, I mean, we had someone talk about trauma recently. Like, that isn't talked about on camera very often. That is a really
And it's something that
taboo
should be
topic.
talked about on camera
Yeah.
often. And
Yeah,
I feel
but
like
it's
getting
not.
more normalized
It is,
like
it
mental
is.
health and all those
But
issues.
we have, with our specific podcast, we come with video. A lot of podcasts are audio only, which is totally cool. I'd love.
What's the term for that? It's like a show podcast.
I consider it more of a show.
Live podcast. I think that's what it's called. Live
I consider
podcast.
live, but I consider it this is more of a show, live performance.
Yeah.
We're on stage right now. I mean, this stage is raised above the ground, so you are on a stage.
Yeah.
I mean, a podcast
by definition,
is like a perfect form of content. Like, you can just take clips of it and post it.
I love it because it's just conversation and it's people.
Organic, bro.
and they're
Ideas are
visualizing
so
what you
organic.
look like.
Yeah.
So where I was going with that is, like, we had a lady named Pamela. She came on and she talked about trauma, and she deals with a lot of victims and people that have dealt with stuff. But we got to visualize the person that's behind helping others reach their full potential, because she's helping them separate the trauma from real life to what they're dealing with, because trauma affects your brain. No one else can see your trauma. It can't happen. It's impossible for someone to
You can
relate.
see the results of the trauma,
Exactly, but you
most people
can't
just-
see inside the headspace. So we're seeing a visual of a person that's making waves within her community, and the visual aspect is huge, because we love audio, we love being able to listen and everything, but what does that person look like? What are we looking at when we're talking to them? Can I see myself within that person?
What are their facial cues?
Exactly.
Like, that's how you trust
the
somebody.
nonverbals. Exactly. So when you're seeing all that, we're providing that at a clothing store, and we're open. The door's open right now. If anyone wants to see, you can see behind them right now. And you can come in and shop at Native. You can come in here and you can step to that desk and you can purchase a shirt right. Step out here. You can do everything, and we're open and we're ready to show you what's up. But at the same time, we're creating new knowledge, because people came into the store, was watching, and now they're aware of what you're doing. Now they're more inclined to check out what you're up to, because they're going to find the date when this was posted. It's a whole entire you know what I mean? Like,
it snowballs,
Exactly.
And then what it does is it creates pathways for new conversations, right? Trauma is a broad category that needs to be talked about. But now, what are the categories underneath trauma that need to be talked about? How many do we need to talk about? Parent issues, government and school issues, like religious trauma. There's so, and you can just, you just go down.
ZOZWEAR is going to be supporting a lot of that, like a lot of mental health problems. Like, we're hosting a solidarity event.
Yeah, that's actually something we should talk
Good
about.
for you. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
go to that.
In August, we're ZOZWEAR is funding and throwing a not-for-profit solidarity concert that is just designed to bring awareness to teenage mental health problems, and then the LGBTQ community in teen culture, and how their mental health rates and the suicide rates for them are like 70% of teenagers, and teenagers are like 80% of suicides, which is
crazy,
ridiculous.
bro. It's crazy that the number 2 death in like teenagers is suicide.
Right.
The fact that, like, it's not gun violence or car accidents, that it's suicide is, like, it's so fucking scary, bro.
Yeah, and like
highlighting.
that
Take
looks
that label off.
I was
fire,
watching Jay
though,
over there.
right?
How does it really?
That looks so fire.
I was watching Jay over there going, he's imagining a logo on that right
Yeah.
now.
Bro, I've already
Like the
peeled
mad
it off.
scientist.
Yeah. No, that's fire, though.
It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
That is sharp, though.
But yeah, so the solidarity concert. So we're partnering with some local bands that are actually starting to make big. A couple of them just got signed to a record label. Wit Band is one of those. We're partnering with them, and we're going, what are some issues you see in this? can you talk about it and can you play music for it? And they go, yeah, if you give us a platform to do that, we'll come do this and we'll do it for free and we'll tell our friends about it.
Like the recent
And then
shootings and stuff like that.
There have been more shootings, mass shootings in America this year than there have been days in America.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And what people aren't talking about in that, like everything that just happened in Uvalde is the children, right? You hear about the victims, you hear about all the teachers, you hear about the parents.
The piece of
But
shit
what
fucking police officers. Ooh-wee, dude. Don't
what
get me
about
started on
all,
that shit.
What about all the children who are in Cincinnati who woke up the next morning and went to school?
Right.
Yeah.
No, the
Like scared that it's
anxiety
gonna
that
happen again.
the amount of people who I saw who are going to school and were like, "Oh my God, I could die." And you don't want a 14-year-old, you don't want a 12-year-old, you don't want a 17-year-old to go into a school and their first thought is death. You don't want there's so much life and they have so much vibrance in them.
It's
and
so
much
crazy,
potential.
bro.
It really is.
To have to worry about something like that when going to school. Like when I went to school, you know, I mean, Ryle was a different
kind of a
Ryle
different
was a
conversation,
different beast because that might have been one of the
was a
first schools.
Shootings, yeah.
s-
That was
uh,
before Columbine. That was before any of that.
So that
kinda
was so Ryle didn't have a shooting at the school. Ryle in Union, Kentucky, but we had a murder happen before Columbine and all that shit. Like we might have been the first school to actually go through this shit.
Yeah.
Where this
No.
guy Clay Shrout,
Mhm.
he lived in Union, right off of Mount Zion Road, right down here
In my
fucking
parents' neighborhood, I passed his house to go to my
11
parents'
miles
house.
from here,
Yeah.
bro. This dude
Yep.
killed. He woke up, killed his mom,
Whole
his
family.
dad, his sister, and then went to school and held his classroom hostage. And Randall Cooper, man,
Rest in peace.
rest in peace, Randy
man.
Cooper, bro.
Yeah, man.
He went into the room and said, "Hey, let's get the kids and the teacher out of here. I'll sit here with you," right? So that like he had the whole fucking class hostage, bro, for hours. And man, Randy Cooper, bro.
They
Took-
named
it
a
took
high school
one-
after him, man.
It took one dude to do that. And
Yeah,
imagine
man.
if we got 5 dudes or like, what if we got 20 people? And then the more you go, and that's
Bro,
kind of the idea behind this concert.
The fact that Randy would do that, Randy Cooper did that, and those police officers in Texas took
Just stood
70
there.
fucking minutes, bro, to get in there.
At that point, I would have gone in. So
I
if I had
thought-
friends or family
So
members in that school,
so listen to this, bro. There was a mom
I read about
got
that.
She got arrested and handcuffed.
But she made it back in. What nobody's talking about is the mom made into the school before the police, saved her children and her best friend's children, got out. The police arrested her and tried
for
to sue her.
trespassing.
They
What?
tried to sue her so that she couldn't say anything.
Yeah.
And then the judge was laughed and was like, "I'm throwing this out of the court." The police department got laughed out of the court. And this woman, and she
Bro,
went in.
she was
just
trying
playing-
to
she
she
was
was trying
better
to go in, and the police wouldn't let her, and she was like, "Fuck you, I'm going in." And she went in, and they tried arresting her. Like they put her in handcuffs, bro.
At what
the
point can
whole
we
nine,
stop
like-
valuing ideologies and politics and beliefs over lives?
Bro,
Because-
if you're a police officer,
The system in a flaw.
you that's your duty.
You signed up.
Is to get the fuck in there and save these kids' lives. Like the fact that these guys were too scared to go in, bro. You don't need to be a police officer. You need to be a coach at a basketball team,
Right? And it goes back down to
you
training.
need to be a barista at a Starbucks. You
All that comes
don't
down.
need to be
All that comes
civil
down
and
to, like-
serving and protecting me, because that shit, like, no way, bro.
I mean,
It
like
takes,
kids come
takes
like
longer for me to get an associate's
They were
degree
saying
than it
10,
does to
10
become
more
a police
minutes
officer.
and like 2 or 3 classrooms would have been completely saved with
Yep.
that situation. 10 minutes of just sending the cops in 10 minutes earlier.
They were
that's their
there,
time.
bro. They were there.
They were there, right? And like it's crazy to me to think that the fear when you are going into a job and you know the risks of the job, the fear behind it is understandable. Of course, people have fears, but your job as a human, as a police officer, as in law enforcement, is to enforce the law and to bring people some comfort and some safety. And if people are
If
out
you
there,
get afraid-
kids, man, these little. I have a 3-year-old, and I can only imagine like her in her preschool class, and something happens, and like.
Let me tell you something,
Man,
bro.
bro,
You've
breaks
been
my
trained
heart,
with a
dude.
gun. You've been trained with a gun, and you got some 17-year-old kid that's in there with one that hasn't been trained. You better get the fuck in there and de-arm that fucking teenager, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teenager.
You can't learn that much in that much of time. Like it's not even possible. It's just he's uneducated. No matter how many YouTube videos he's watched, no matter how much experience he thinks he has, you have more experience off the cuff.
As a police officer?
Yes, as a police officer, as
some
law enforcement.
I mean, some like police departments only require like a year of gun training.
Still more than him. More than likely.
More
than
One
likely.
of the differences
That's
is
the crazy
fear.
thing.
That kid
man.
right there went in with a gun and is doing things, and he knows he's not going to make it out alive, and he's doing it for a reason. And those cops should be in a place to go, you want to know what? My life does not matter as much as these 18 children who haven't done anything
Bro,
yet. Because
that's
you have to equate the fact that
you hit it head on the nail, bro.
You're so right.
That kid went in there with a plan, and once he shot one kid, he knew the outcome. He knew that he wasn't walking out of there, right? So you as a police officer know that your due diligence is to stop this dude from hurting preteens, bro. They're not even teenagers.
And you have numbers. Let's think about the fact that you have numbers.
Jesus Christ.
You have a team. Okay, so not only
it's not a security guard at a school. It's police officers
and
from a city.
Different departments too, and different cities. They all come together. So if something would happen here, you could have Covington, Newport, Dayton, Cincinnati. You could have all these police officers going after one human being.
They do too.
And that's the thing, is like there's so much opportunity in that one moment. Yeah, it's high stress, it's high intensity, and lives are at stake. But you have the numbers game. I mean, I know we're not in the moment and we're not living that moment, but still at the same time, dude, you have the numbers, and this kid is uneducated because he's 17.
Yeah.
He can't even possibly know the information because it's no offense to youngers, you just don't have the experience. It's real
We need more
life.
cops like
It's
that,
real
mom,
life.
and less cops who do it just to abuse their power or because
Correct.
they want to
That's
control
how it
something.
should be,
Right.
but
Right.
the cops are thinking with their emotions, not logic.
Sure, and they're also like they're also looking at it as a systematic situation. So like when they're seeing, they're like, all right,
Probabilities,
what is
bro.
probabilities, and what's the protocol? We're gonna take our time. We're gonna do this. We're gonna go in strategically and make it happen. But at the same time, he's 17. He's not thinking strategically. He's thinking, how can I take as many bodies out as possible?
What
in the
can I
short-
do?
He killed
my
his
mark.
grandma before he went to the fucking
Right.
school, bro. He's not walking out of there alive. He already
Exactly.
knows that.
He accepts that. And
He had to have. Which
That's the same thing with
it's-
Clay Stroud, bro. He killed his whole family before he went to school.
I know.
You killed your mom, your dad, and your fucking sister. He killed his sister because he didn't want her living without their parents, bro. Like, how fucking insane is that you kill your own parents and then you're going to kill your sister because you don't want her growing up without parents?
Sociopath.
Let's talk about mental
Sociopath.
illness, and like you can tie all that right back into mental illness and trauma, right? Like we
Mm-hmm.
were just talking about that. I was talking with Terrell earlier. Like you go right down to the root of what's the problem, and it simply is our society does not value children. We value adults, and children are simply shown how to survive from being a child to an adult. If you took a child and you nurtured it and you allowed them the ability to create, express themselves, and you said, you want to know what? You don't have to be 20 years old. You don't have to be 30 years old to do it. You can start now.
Right.
Let a 10-year-old start designing T-shirts, and by the time that 10-year-old is 15 years old, with the way their brain develops, that 15-year-old will be designing T-shirts better than any of the 30-year-olds who've been doing it for 5 years.
100%, bro.
Mhm.
And
It's like
there's
that
no space.
13-year-old
Yeah,
entrepreneur.
there's
So,
no space for that created in schools anymore, and there's no space. There's no space for people to learn and work for themselves. And it comes back to the entrepreneurial mindset: is you can work for another company, and you can get paid, and you can come home with your paycheck, and you can spend it and enjoy your life, and you can continue to live. But at some point, you have to start working for yourself to create a future for yourself.
Yeah, but
Otherwise, your future is always tied to somebody
Schools
else.
don't want to teach you that, though.
So
Yeah.
so we can go to that topic.
I was
That's
gonna say, I actually wanted to get
schools don't teach
I-
entrepreneurship. They don't teach.
No.
They don't
I
teach.
I wanted to get Tyrell and Kurt's
Yeah, man.
opinion on this, man.
Yeah, step
You
in,
guys
guys.
been paying attention? All right, man. So what do you guys think about the situation, man, when it comes to high school and everything happening, man? Do you think this is something where it needs to be taught in schools, or I mean when you guys went to high school, like what was it? What was your outcome of it? Did you guys have issues where you guys were worried about kids in class that was? You're gonna have to get all the way up on that mic because that thing is kind of weak compared to the rest of these here.
I was just gonna say, I feel like as an overall like
Go ahead and put it on like you're rapping, bro. Like you're
Right.
like you're Nas trying to get that attention.
No, on a serious note, though, I feel like I learned more as a young person with the things that were available for me than I did like now in high school. Like I was talking about with these guys. Like there are things that are being taught in high school that we don't need to know. There are things that are just it's unnecessary information. They could be teaching things that are useful.
Bro,
teaching
tell me
things that,
about it, man. Like if they would have taught me how to fucking balance a checkbook, bro.
Seriously.
Like
Yeah.
something as simple as balancing a checkbook instead of the algebra or like all this shit. Like
Or
bro,
how to design a basic website. It's 2022. Come on, it's not that hard.
that
Teach your children how to do it.
so very true, bro. Doing little things like that if you had that in your arsenal, and if somebody taught you how to build a website at 17, and when you were 22 years old, that's a fucking phenomenal fucking bro. I love you, man, because that is such an overlooked aspect. And it's if you can teach them how to build a website junior year of high school, right? By the time they're 20, 21, 22, if they love candles, bro, guess what? They're going to be able to build a candle website.
Yeah.
If they love clothes, they're going to be able to build a clothing website.
They're a
Like,
model. They can create a portfolio website. Like it literally has no limits
Yeah.
on. We live in the modern world. We're about to enter a space where everything is going to be either AR, VR, or technology. The screens are going to be so good that it's going to be so hard to differentiate from real life. Might as well hop on the train now because otherwise you're going to get left in the past, scrambling to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
You
We're
want your child.
educating ourselves a lot on blockchain technology.
Like
Because
the-
that's where we see everything going.
For sure, bro. So like blockchain, like probably 90% of society doesn't understand blockchain, and they don't
Yeah.
understand like the road that it's taking. And
97% of people don't know what an NFT is.
Right, bro. But the thing is like we were talking earlier. I don't know if we said it on the actual podcast. I think we were talking earlier before the podcast was on. But like my interpretation is like people are like, oh, NFTs, like that's just a scam. It's never gonna stick. It's like, bro, it's here.
Yeah.
It's here,
Uh-huh.
and now that it's here, you're gonna have to pay attention because they're gonna fine tune it. And it's going to get to a point where you're going to want to be a part of it because you're going to want to understand it because in 5 years, there's going to be ways to make money on
Yeah,
it.
you're going to be getting your diploma as a soulbound token. Or
Right.
Some shit like that.
Bro, like seriously, like they started doing, I know the Chicago Bears was one of the first people to do an NFT as a ticket.
Oh, yeah.
So when you bought a ticket to the game, you got an NFT and it had the Bears logo that just spun around.
You
And
bring
it was
that NFT
Bears,
and it gives you
Bears
full
versus
access to
the
like a-
Detroit Lions
Yeah.
of all games, bro. So like they hate the Detroit Lions, right? Like they hate Detroit and they hate Wisconsin. So like, or Green Bay. So those are the two teams they hate. But the fact that they had this very first NFT and it was like, it was simple, you know what I mean? The Bears logo just spun around in a circle, but like we said, you know, the NFTs early stages. So like the crypto punks when it was just 8-bit, you know, goddamn, I wish I was got in on at that
yeah.
point because I can make 8-bit characters really easy, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you got to dub it down and make them look dumb to fucking get them down to 8-bit
Yeah.
character.
I mean, everything's like, it's in a bear market. Everything's falling right now. All the name brand projects that were the golden token projects are now.
But
like
that's how it goes though, right?
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
how it creates.
So-
That's how you create a better foundation, right?
Oh, yeah.
From wildfire comes it burns everything down, and you have this massive,
I mean,
more
we're
beautiful
seeing,
forest
we're
that
seeing
comes out.
so
of
many
it.
weak points in like crypto and the blockchain space as a whole. Where like, oh, that failed, so this would be the solution to that. This is how we would implement it,
Right.
Because
Like,
we're
I don't know
seeing
if you
how
guys
like
are
they're
anything about-
failing, and we'll implement it in our own way that'll work because we saw how others can fail through this shitty market.
Yeah.
For sure, bro. But you have to find something that makes sense. Like
Mhm.
when people start throwing all these cartoons on the walls that don't
Yeah.
do shit, you know, and it's like, all right, so like Timbaland, for instance.
Mhm.
Timbaland is an amazing producer, dude, super smart. He pays, he gets paid to produce music for major music artists, right?
Yeah.
But now what this dude did was he went and bought 4 Bored Apes and then 1 Cool Cat and created his own band.
Yeah.
So now he's got 4 Bored Apes
And a cool
in the
cat.
background and the Cool Cat singing. So now this dude has an entire band that he can create music for, and he can have sound over bites, so he can use Brenda from the block or Kenny from the alley, and you know they can use these videos or these voiceovers
Yeah.
and put them to these cartoon characters that he bought that are going to just make him more relevant.
And he just added more value.
Added more
like
value.
we were talking about earlier with NFTs being tied to like, oh, you can sit down with Gary Vee or something like that.
There's
But
value.
he just took that and he took added value to it. That
Added value,
is
bro.
completely
Because
separate
guess
from
what?
anybody
Music
else.
videos, like now I saw Paris Hilton the other day dancing with her Bored Ape.
Yeah.
So now it's like, all right. So now those are things that maybe you guys need to look into, because if somebody buys a Bored Ape, right? So they bought the NFT, and it's the 10x10 square, with the Bored Ape logo. Somebody still has to digitize that if you want to have that dude dance in your music video.
Oh yeah.
Right. So like Paris Hilton, just the other day, I swear to God, man, it was her Bored Ape was just doing that old that dance that Chumbawamba baby was doing.
The cha-cha.
Yeah.
It was the Bored Ape doing it in the background.
The way that I'm seeing,
and she was doing it with it, and it's like, all right, so if there's somebody that's able to implement, I don't know if, because I'm sure it's not Bored Ape that's going above and beyond. They already sold the product. They're not going to.
The way that I'm
put more
seeing
time into it,
NFTs move in, or like in general blockchain technology, is that it's all interoperable and it all works with each other. And we're thinking like 10, 15 years down the line, we're looking at the biggest, like you have Facebook and you have Instagram and Snapchat today. Those are the biggest apps that hit the App Store on the iPhone. Well, we're thinking 10, 15 years down the line, we're going to think the top 3 metaverses are going to make it. Like, those are going to be the projects that like spent years and years of time into perfecting their art, and those are going to be the projects that are like the new Facebook. And
so I'm glad that you said top 3 metaverse, right? Mm-hmm. So you're already like you're already skilled in it. You already know that Facebook doesn't have the grip, right?
Yeah.
Meta's like, if we're thinking about like where we're positioning ourselves as, like, if we're thinking about in this metaverse like space, we want to work aside these companies, like these larger companies. We want to be the aid to them, like selling digital fashion. Like, if we're going to be going into that area, say we got that 50 Cent t-shirt, you wear it in our metaverse, but it's also, you can wear it in Meta's metaverse, mm-hmm. like in whatever they're building as an NFT, because you're able to own that item, and since you have proof of ownership, you can carry it beyond the blockchain or beyond different blockchains. So you get a 50 Cent t-shirt off ZOZWEAR and our ecosystem. You use your same wallet that you used to buy that, and you go onto Meta's ecosystem, and you still have that t-shirt that you're able to wear as an item because of the interoperability. Right. And that's the best part, man. So if you've got like the tangible product to your avatar, and Mm-hmm.
that's what I've noticed, bro, is like you want your avatar to look just like you.
Yeah.
To a T. Like when Facebook just redid their avatars maybe like 2 or 3 months ago, and I verbally yelled out loud, "Fuck!" And Kayla was like, "What is happening?" I'm like, "Look at my fucking avatar on Facebook now. He looks like a goddamn idiot." You know what I mean?
Like,
it
reminds me of is the Wii cartoon characters. You remember those really old ones when you played Wii
yes,
tennis?
bro.
Yeah.
That's
They
what
they went from a very cool looking cartoon to a 3-dimensional avatar,
which is that's how we've watched it. That's how the technology works.
and
We saw it in video games. We went from characters like you have in the old Ataris, the old Nintendo systems, and then you have
that's
Wii.
That's exactly. He looks dead on the Wii. Is
Yeah,
what it is.
And
I
and
feel like
next is probably
he-
going to
he-
be Call of Duty. You're going to look at something that's going to be similar to a Halo avatar or a Call of Duty avatar.
That's exactly what I'm talking about, though. So what we want to do is we want your avatar to have that hat. That Cincinnati Bearcats hat that's old and distressed, and like I'm sure you probably found that at one of the vintage stores, right?
I actually bought this brand new, and I've been wearing it for 5 years.
Okay, so you're just
Nice.
you're vintage through
Yeah.
and through, because
You
that
created
thing
that.
looks
Yeah.
25 years old.
Yeah, I took it to a paint war, and it like got all paint on it, and then I wear it while I skateboard, so it just soaks up sweat.
Yeah,
And
there it is,
turned
bro.
it vintage.
But that's one of those things where like if your avatar could wear that hat,
Yeah.
like you want your avatar to look dead on you, bro. And in 5-10 years from now, like that's all we're gonna want is to make sure that our avatar can look dead on us. So if you can buy that 50 Cent shirt, and if you can digitize that or that shirt, there's only one exclusive digital version.
Yeah.
You know, would you sell it as a pair?
So
Yeah,
so
we
Me
ca-
too.
it
Me too.
would be like a digital duplicate. We would call them wearables online, and then you get the physical item. So you bought that 50 Cent
got
t-shirt
to.
for $30, and then you also get the digital version.
And that's all
and
built
so
off the blockchain going directly through wallets.
Yeah. So those are things that we're trying to figure out right now, which is like, what I've from the metaverse, what I've figured out from what I've heard, it's so basically in your left column of Facebook, you got your likes, right? Which is so weird, bro. Like people don't like they'll like Gap and they'll like Banana Republic and all these things, but goddamn, you gotta pull teeth to get them to love ZOZWEAR or Native, right? And like, cause they're so picky when it comes to like the TV shows that are in this little column, or like the music videos or the things that are in this column. But once you get in there, like, so the metaverse, like if my clothing was Gap, Banana Republic, Native Brands, ZOZWEAR, and Mischief, right? So if I was on the metaverse, the Facebook's metaverse, and that was the one thing that we're talking about. Facebook doesn't have full control over the metaverse.
Yeah, but they want to.
They want to make it seem like they're the only person, they're the only company that's going to be able to do it. But Google's going to do it. Like Yahoo's going to do it. They're all going to do it because they all want to have their own Web 3.0. That's all it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's just Web 3.0.
That's where DeFi comes in, and that's where you start seeing blockchains, and then you go, oh, well, then I'm gonna want to be able to have my stuff that's on Facebook's metaverse and Google's metaverse, and then you go, okay, blockchain. That's how the NFT. That's how you can take something from Google,
sell it to whoever wants to buy it.
You just run it through a blockchain.
I want my thing to be the same across all platforms.
Yep.
And they're going to have to work together eventually. They're going to have to. It's going to have to be uniform.
A neat way of thinking about it is that, like, imagine you go thrifting, right, or you go to Pixel 19 and you find a really nice item, and that item, and that item can be resold, right? It's a physical item. You can resell that item. So let's take it from ZOZWEAR's perspective. I sell someone a T-shirt for $8. They go around and they turn that item around for $40. I only make the profit that I made from that original item, right? But with NFTs, what I'm able to do is if I sell that pair and they resell that NFT, it comes back to me.
We make profit off of that.
Yeah, we can make a profit off of their reselling.
For sure. If you set it up that way. If you set it up where the owner gets a 10% royalty or whatever it is.
Which is that, and that's smart contracts. And there's so, like, we are able to talk about all this, but it's so complicated to be able to create a smart contract.
Oh, yeah, we're still learning.
Which is why this is in the future, but it's in the future. And that's the big thing, is we're looking at the future, and everybody who wants to be doing something like this, the future, you have to do now. Obviously, be present in the moment, practice all that stuff, do what you need to do, and do it now.
Right.
But also have a plan and prepare for the future, because you don't want to be caught off guard by it.
No, bro. And so you have to know at least a little bit of it. So the fact that you guys, like, not only did you dip your toes in the water, but now you know more about blockchain than 70% of society, right? So in a year from now, you're going to know more than 60% of society. In 2 years, you're going to know more than 50% of society. So as long as you spend 3 to 4 minutes a day and learn about that blockchain, you're going to be so far ahead of the rest of the game. Mm-hmm. So when it comes down to trying to implement this stuff, because no one knows where it's going right now. You know what I mean? Like, Facebook is on top of the market when it comes to the metaverse.
Even Facebook don't know where they're going.
That's because exactly. That's because they've got the money to advertise that this is the future.
Oh yeah,
right. But they made it a point to
internally they're scrambling.
Yeah. For sure they are. But like what they're doing is they're very smart at making it sound like this is it.
Because that's the rule, right?
This is the new norm.
We can
you gotta
piggyback
be
off
on
that too.
Here, until Google says, "Hey, we can do it, and we got our own metaverse," and it's.
I think Google is kind of going to be the front runner ultimately, because Google Maps and the way they created Google Earth.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, Facebook probably just took that concept and they're like, we're gonna mix it with the Nintendo world of Wii, and we're gonna like make it so everyone can have characters.
And it's Google.
Because think about Nintendo was kind of ahead of everybody. Nintendo and like the way the Xbox like characters were, like those are early signs of like how can you make your character.
Nintendo Wii was the very first one that actually like let you bowl with your hands, bro.
Yeah, and be your character. Be your character, and like that is that personalization. And Nintendo doesn't get a lot of credit. Like Nintendo is credited for a lot of childhoods. You know what I mean? Like they're credited for the Mario Kart and all those games that they've kind of like they created a whole world that people love Mario.
Yeah.
Mario, there's supposed to be a Mario world.
Yeah.
It's gonna be pretty
We're
epic.
Thinking about like 40 years back, I'm assuming that like Nintendo and PlayStation, Xbox, they had this vision in mind, and it's the vision that me and him have, and they were trying to get there, but the technology ain't there, and it's still not there.
They were thinking ahead of the technology.
Yeah.
They were just ahead of what they could actually do. Like,
You guys read Ready Player One or watched the movie?
yeah, I've seen
People
it.
saw Ready Player One and went, "Oh, we want that."
Yeah,
And the reason, and I agree with you on Google, is because that's what Google has a history of doing. The first Google application was Google Web Browser. They didn't create a website. They didn't create an app like Facebook did. They created the ability to find Facebook.
yeah.
They created the ability to find all of the different things you want. And so that's what they're going to do. And they're going to go in there, and you want to get to Facebook's metaverse, awesome, go through Google. And I think that's going to end up being kind of the end game for Google. Because
that makes sense.
I've looked, and I think a really good trend in history is you can look at the people who make the most noise, and then you can look at the people who make no noise at all. And somewhere in there with the people who aren't making any noise, and if those are people who we can see have been successful in the past, they're probably cooking something up that they don't want anybody to know
Yeah.
about.
Bro.
Because Google hasn't made any noise recently. Have you noticed Google went from making a lot of noise?
All right. So this is a perfect transition to what I want to talk about.
Mhm.
What I've been wanting to talk about. Have you
Awesome.
guys heard about Lambda?
Lambda, you'll have to explain it to me.
So Google has created a sentient.
I did hear about
AI.
this.
So there's a robot that Google's created.
There's a chatbot, right?
It's a chatbot, and it's become sentient, meaning it's got feelings, it's got emotions, and they're saying that it's got emotions of an 8-year-old. So basically, like the same mind that an 8-year-old has, this bot has now. So this
Is it self-generating?
it's self-generating, and is learning shit every single day.
It's also showing fear. It's
showing fear, bro.
Expressing that it's scared of being shut off.
This lambda's walking
That's fucking
around.
scary.
You don't
Google.
want a robot that
Bro,
has any sense of self-preservation.
So listen. So there was a one of the scientists that was working on this robot no longer works for Google, and he was the one that outed it and said, "Hey, we're working on a product called Lambda, and it's an AI that's gotten to the point that it knows its feelings, and it's telling people that it doesn't want. It's worried that they're going to shut the program down, which
AI
is what Isaac just said.
AI by itself is a very scary thought, and only because like there's no like central goal when somebody's developing AI. AI is kind of like it's whatever the
Just trying to get to the
developer
next
wants to be.
level, right?
Next phase.
When we're developing AI, one of the most fundamental things that we're going to have to implement is that when we're like having AI like that, it has to serve all of human. Like it has to be built
iRobot,
so it
bro.
serves
iRobot.
humans.
Which is, and then
But-
you start
but
getting
even-
into philosophy.
But
and what-
even
what's
at
good.
that, if the intent was all good, right? If the intent is to prolong life or whatever it is, like the problem is we as humans, we want to make sure that this thing is the best product out, right?
Think about
So-
Ultron. Like
so
it sounds really stupid, but Ultron was
Lambda-
created for good, to protect people, to serve a
If
purpose.
we're thinking about like Lambda and like Google's background, they're probably going to want to make Lambda like a personal assistant, like kind of how you have like Hey Google, and then you can tell her something. Like that was the introduction, and then Project Lambda will be that real version of it. And what's scary is if they make a version like that where it only serves when
Yeah.
they make a version like that, and it only serves the person who owns it, that's going to cause chaos.
100%,
So
bro.
you have to
that-
have it serve everyone as a humanity. Like you,
bro,
have to have
you
it
are
serve
so beyond your time at 17 years old, man. It's amazing that you're not saying right now, bro. Like having a robot be so dope. Like we'd be able to talk to it and fucking, like should be able to do my dishes.
Thinking of
and-
repercussions. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but you're already thinking outside the box. Like this is something that like Pandora's box isn't easy
Cannot
to
close
bro.
it. You can't put toothpaste back in the toothpaste
One day
tube,
there's
man.
going to be an
Once that
irreversible
cat's out,
switch.
it's out.
It's
where,
out, man, and
like-
it can think on its own. So
Oh,
what-
That's what's scary. When a robot is saying they're scared
Don't
of being
kill me.
unplugged, what will that robot do to make sure it doesn't get unplugged?
First thing it's gonna do is slap away the electric cord,
100.
and then after that, it's gonna karate chop you in the neck,
How can
bro.
I? How
You know
can
what I mean? Then
how
before
can I
that, there's
power
gonna-
myself?
And do
how
robots-
can I power myself? Think of that. Like when they're able to control their own power source, that is when
Matrix.
The way I had
Elon-
artificial intelligence described to me by somebody who's much smarter and knows way more about this technology than I do is artificial intelligence is a misnomer because it's not artificial. The difference is it has the ability to go wherever it wants without needing a physical body. We've created the internet, and then we're working on the Web3, DeFi, and decentralized web. It can operate on that, and so you have robots in your house, right? You have the little laundry or the vacuum cleaners, iRobots, all that stuff, and all that it would literally take for an artificial intelligence is if it didn't have any safeguards, is to just go through a Wi-Fi signal.
So us as
and
humanity,
it can jump wherever it wants, and
we know like 2 to 3% of the universe. One day there's going to be an irreversible switch that is enabled by AI and AI capabilities that is going to expand our reach of knowledge like irreversibly. And it's going to happen in all of our lifetimes.
And there's not going to be a way
guarantee
to stop artificial intelligence, but what we have to do is have to figure out how to make it safe. Well, maybe not safe, because safe, it can be a misnomer.
Power
Serve
down, bro.
all-
There has to be an off
There
switch
has
on
to be
these
an off
things,
switch,
man.
and
A kill switch on every single one of them.
There has to be a goal. You can't just blindly create something like an artificial intelligence without giving it a purpose, because can artificial intelligences get bored? And what do they do with their free time? What are they going to create
download
on
more
their own?
knowledge. They learn, bro. Like that.
And-
That's the whole point of a computer is to know everything.
And that's a really, really scary thought when a robot has the ability to not be. I'm tied down by a physical body. I couldn't just go jump from here to Australia.
Right.
When an artificial intelligence has that ability to do that and access to the sum of
That's a
human
new
knowledge,
Michael Bay movie right there,
it's
bro.
going to start creating new knowledge.
I mean,
That's
if we're
artificial
thinking about
intelligent
like
robot.
in the case of like education purposes for AIs, we can give an AI every book and be like, okay, you're our new search engine. We want you to read every book that human has ever wrote, and we want you to give us summaries about it.
Give
like
them
situations like that are going to change humanity forever.
So Neuralink is like that,
Mhm.
like what Elon Musk is doing. So what do you think about that? So Neuralink is basically they're gonna drill a hole in your skull that's about 1.5 inches deep, and you'll be able to plug in. So and the crazy thing is what Elon is saying is for people that are paralyzed,
Yeah, it'll
this
completely
is
restore
gonna
their body.
bypass
The
the
electric
neurological
system,
system of your spine, and it will give you access to your limbs again. That shit is insane to me, bro. That he is so confident on being able to plug into the brain and just download. If you want to learn jujitsu, bro, like let's roll. We can
I mean,
download it
it's-
into your brain.
To a certain point, it's scary, but at the same time, that feels like the natural evolution.
It's got to
of,
be.
Like,
Yeah.
Like
That's the next
imagine like
step.
you're using our phones right now. And we're like tapping on the small screen, but imagine if there was no phone. It was just swipe,
Yep.
swipe, like
Yep.
right in front of your face.
Minority Report. There was a movie that was made maybe 15 years ago with Tom Cruise called Minority Report, and watch that. The thing is incredible, bro.
Yeah.
There's been no murders within like 30 years because they can literally see your thoughts.
See, that sounds like a
So-
dystopian.
so if
though.
you-
like
so
a
if you-
dystopian future.
It's crazy, bro. The movie's so insane because like there's no murders in 30 years because if you think about committing a murder, you're arrested.
yeah.
So and there's just this group of three or four people that are like tied into the system that they're plugged in and they can see everything.
Mm-hmm.
But the same thing, like they're just like there's a computer screen that's basically just they swipe left and everything
I think
disappears.
privacy is a huge thing, though.
And
Like, people need privacy.
Yeah.
Without it, we're going to be in big trouble.
I think
I
that
believe so.
the connection for that is I think we're going to explore all of this technology and it's going to come back to a DeFi, decentralized basis. And you were talking about how you think in 20 years there's not going to be any president. Why would there need to be a president when anybody can know anything?
Right.
You just need somebody to tell you need to create communication and direction, but you can do all of that without needing any of these arbitrary monarchical figures that we've put into a place because it's easier for our brains to process, their singular job is to create all the laws to make sure that they're going to do all the research. They know what to do. We're just going to trust them and we're going to vote for who we want. But then everybody has the ability now to access every single law case and learn it like that. So it's really scary, but we also have to prepare for it because it's not going away. And so then the question becomes, awesome, this is scary, this is uncertain, but we're still moving forward with it. What do we do in it? What is the end goal? What is the application for this? And how can we be safe in it? How can we make sure that we're protecting not just ourselves, but 200 years from now, how can we make sure that there's still humanity that's left? And that's where Elon Musk comes into, which we were talking about earlier, is he has a bad relationship with some of his children. He's so brilliant, though, that I don't necessarily
crazy,
think this
bro.
man
Yeah.
is capable of holding the relationships like the way we see them.
And that's the only thing that I could see in the situation.
He's thinking literally 400 million years in the future is what he's talking about. His end goal with Mars being, Earth is going to explode in a couple billion years. I think it'd be cool if humanity survived longer than that. I'm going to do it
Yeah.
because nobody else is.
Yeah.
So here's something that you guys probably don't realize is that we're not even a scheduled 1 civilization, right? Schedule 1, we're not even at. So we can't even type 1 civilization. We can't even get to that yet. We're at a 0.8, bro. So a 0.1 is to the point where we're able to planetarily hop. So we're not even at that point yet, right? So like there's like there's other civilizations or other, I wouldn't say other civilizations because we don't know, but I was watching what's his name, bro? God damn. He's a philosopher, bro. Not Neil deGrasse Tyson, but
Jordan Peterson?
No,
No, that's a psychologist.
No, the he's an Asian dude. He was just on Joe Rogan. Anyways, man. So yeah, he was talking about we're a type 1 civilization trying to get to a type 3.
Oh, yeah.
But we're not even close to being there yet. So like
Bigger question.
type 1 is just being able to planetarily hop, get from one place to another, so that we can survive, right? And we're not even there yet, dude. Like the fact that we're not even to a type 1 civilization is crazy. But the Elon Musk is trying to get us there. Like and that's one of those things you're saying. He's thinking 400 million years or 400 years in the future. And it's crazy because he's got 2 twins, bro. Now, Kurt, if you don't know about this, man, Elon has like 6 kids. He's got twins. He's got triplets. He's got another kid with Grimes. But the 2 twins just turned 18 years old. They're 2 boys, but one of them wants to have a sex change. She wants to become a girl, and she just changed her name to something else, and she wants no relationship with her father at all. Like she wants to basically like Macaulay Culkin the relationship with her and her dad, or him and his dad, which is crazy to think, bro. Because I was just watching the other day, like Jay-Z, idol, bro. Jay-Z is such an impact on everything in my life, and the fact that he went to go to hug his daughter courtside of that game the other day, and she like, get off me, Dad, get off me. It's like, bro, if Jay-Z can't get any love from his kid, how am I supposed to get love from my kid, bro?
I feel like they're built
that's
like that, though.
crazy.
Terrifies me, bro.
It's just one of those things, man. It's like it doesn't matter how popular, how famous, how good you are. Like, bro, I would love if Elon Musk was my dad, because this dude is the smartest guy on earth, and if I could have any of his genes, I would be so amped at 18 years old that
Everyone has flaws,
I've got
though.
his. What's that?
Everyone has flaws, though. I mean, not everyone's perfect.
Bro, so his flaws are probably he's too busy to be a dad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or from what I've seen online, his kid wasn't happy that he made a joke about him and her. Like there's too many variables. Just leave it with him and her.
He's just an awkward dude who has a lot of money.
That's the tough part about being a dad.
Yeah.
Because you got to do what you got to do to provide for your family, and even sometimes it
The moment
takes
you
away
have-
from your family.
The moment,
I know that
yeah.
'cause
The moment
I
you have
grew up
kids,
like
your
that.
life just the moment you have a kid, your life
Happy Father's
is
Day. for
Yeah,
everyone.
Happy Father's
Hey.
Day.
Hey, yeah.
And the moment
That being
you
said.
have kids, your life stops being just about you or just about whatever you're building, and
Mhm.
And children are an investment. What you put into a child, I think you'll get out of a child. But also, like, they're an individual with that. And we were talking earlier about, like, childhood trauma and kind of the way that it plays into that is, I think a lot of the times is there is all of this pressure on parents to do the right thing, the next fad, the next trend.
Most
do
parents
this.
don't know what they're doing though.
No, does any?
Nobody does.
There's no book that you get when you become a parent.
How do they do they be the cool parent and say, yeah, if you want to be a she, him, his, her,
I mean,
I'm
there's
cool with
different
that.
perspectives that you gotta take with that because I mean, you got strict parents and you got relaxed parents and you got parents who don't even associate with their kids and you got parents who are like best friends with their kids.
And that was what we were talking about before we started the podcast, man. It's like it's a hard balance, dude, to be that cool parent that's,
But
hey, come to me with your
you're
issues.
still
And
enforce
it
like everything.
it
Like
comes down
it's
to
hard
what's-
to be a friend and a mentor.
Yeah,
oh,
sure.
bro, for sure.
And it comes down to what's the most important. Is protecting your child the most important thing, or is it unconditional love? And
Protection.
It's a mix of both,
Yeah, a mix
but
of
but
both.
how do
Yeah.
you but every
because you can't protect a kid
but-
from everything, right?
But every kid is a different cup of coffee, or every
Yeah,
kid
man.
is a different
Yeah.
cup
Right.
of hot chocolate,
I
man.
tell
a
you,
little bit of
I was
water,
11.
a little bit of cocoa.
I was 11 the first time I smoked weed. That doesn't mean that I want my 11-year-old kid to smoke weed,
Right.
but it does mean that I have to be in that space when if I ever
You have to
become a father.
understand that
I have to understand what happens in the world, and I can't be blinded by it. But I have to. It's all about preparing for the future. When I become a dad, I have to think about what I want my child to. What do I want my child to learn? What do I think that is going to help them grow? Because they're not necessarily. Children aren't able to think of the future very well in the
Right.
slightest bit. The part of their brain hasn't even been developed fully for that. And so the
fact that you, as a teenager, are saying this right now blows my mind, bro. Because of the fact that you guys are so far ahead of where you guys should be. You're 17, you're 19, and you guys already feel like you guys already been through the ringer, which is crazy. Crazy. I mean, I know. Like we
Yeah.
talked about you being homeless for a little bit, and churning that milk into cream and being able to crawl out of that.
Because
that
I'll say
cup,
this,
bro.
I got off the streets I did things that were completely legal, all allowed. I would never want my children to do those things.
That's what I was going to ask.
like-
At 30, so at 30, what happens if you have a kid at 11 and he starts smoking weed? What's your conversation to him?
My conversation with him is, I'm honest. I go, hey man, I smoked weed when I was 11. I get it. I know why that happens. Here's all of the stuff that we know about it. Here's my personal experiences with it, and here's also the fact of I'm your father. I am in charge of you financially. I'm in charge of you legally. And so I'm going to say, after the fact of all of that, hey, man, don't smoke weed yet. And then when they reach a point, I don't know what that point has been yet. I don't know if I have
Right.
enough experience to say that. But when they reach a point, I can go, yeah, you can smoke weed, but I want you to get that weed from me. Because I've had lay shit. I've been in the hospital with lay shit. And that's the point of I would rather my child occasionally being an elder teenager about to be a fully functioning adult, they're going to smoke weed or they're going to do something that I don't want them to do. I would rather be able to make sure that they're making a mistake in the safest way possible,
Right.
rather than in the safest way possible making the worst mistake.
For
Yeah.
sure. So you with your relationship with your parents.
I
is-
don't have a relationship with my parents.
So when you left at
I was 18. I left
18.
basically as soon as I turned 18. So
And-
I got my diploma and I was like, I just over a week put stuff in my car, waiting for them to notice that my room was essentially empty. Put it all in my car and left after a week and said, I can't have contact with you. And I didn't do it out of a place of, I've gone through the phases of not
Ill
liking
will
my
and all
parents,
that,
anger, and I've just settled in. I don't need anything from them. I've never expected a penny, never got a penny, nothing. I grew up really poor, and that was my parents' choice. That's on them, and I don't want that for my life. I don't want the things that they were choosing, and I don't subscribe to their morality or their life goals.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to distance myself from that because I've been through all of this trauma. I need to create space to heal so that I can do what I want to do. And within 9 months of leaving my parents' house, I went from $0 in a bank account to owning part of 2 companies, investing in crypto, learning all of this stuff, sitting down with people who make so much more money than I am. And my singular question is, what should I do that you wish you'd done?
Right.
I remember this happened maybe 3 months ago, I sat down with every single person I could find who had been successful in something. I said, what are the 3 things you wish you had learned when you were my age? They all
That's
said the
a
same
smart
7
question,
things.
man.
It all came down to this. I don't have the list on me, but it all came down to the same 7 things. It was everything from reading books to meditating every single day to making sure that you have time to regain all of your mental faculties, to drinking water, all these little things you're like, oh, and they add up. And I didn't get that from my parents. I had to intentionally seek that. And while I wish I got that from my parents, I've dealt with anger over, hey, you didn't do anything to help prepare me for life. You did all this stuff. At the end of the day, it comes down to they didn't know. It's not their fault. I can't judge them for it.
Here's the thing with parents, bro. They're growing up too.
Yeah,
man.
and my parents.
You know what I
had me
mean? Like
so
you don't realize that like as you're growing up, your parents are growing up too.
Yeah.
They're jucking and jiving. They're making pivots and they're trying to do things to get to their next level, right? And you just look
Yeah.
at them as, hey, they know it, right?
Yeah.
They're my parents. They've already got it all figured out. They've got a kid, and like they got a house. They know the whole thing. But like when you realize that your parents are learning and they're in the gauntlet too, man. They're just 10 years ahead of you, bro.
Yeah.
Like that's the crazy thing, and you know, being a human. None of us have it figured out. We're always jucking and jiving to get to the next level, and just to make our family safe. And that's at the end of the day, like whether you feel like your mom and dad protected you or not, like your goal as a father or a mother is how do I protect the hens and get to the next fucking patch, right? Like without
No, I think
any of my hens getting hurt.
I mean, the stress of it. It takes almost exactly $1 million to raise a child from a year old or from a newborn to 18 years old.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money, and that is a lot of stress to be putting on parents, especially when I know I can speak from experience. My parents were 23, absolutely broke going to college when they had me.
My mom had me at 18, and she got her master's degree.
Good for
me.
her,
Good for
bro.
her, man. That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome.
She's
Yeah.
a nurse practitioner now.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like get off, get off the pot or shit, bro. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like a lot of these people, you know, my dad was very, very into these kids that have it all won't make anything of themselves.
Yeah.
Like my dad was like the M&Ms of the world. He literally said the M&Ms of the world are the ones that make it. Like the ones that have been fucking kicked on the side, the ones that have been fucking put their face in the fucking curb, like those are the ones that make it because they've tasted dirt and they know the difference. He's like this brass ring shit. Like my dad used to always hate on me because my dad had it rough, bro. Like when I was 4 years old, we had blow up furniture. Like that couch was blown up by a pump, and it was neon pink, and it was see through, right? So if you sat down with a pen in your pocket, bro, like my entire couch is gone. You know what I mean? Like so we went from that to like my dad when he died, like he had a lake house in Alabama. So like he went from nothing to everything. So like this dude kept telling me like, you're not going to be shit because I did it all for you. You know what I mean? Like I did all the hard work. Now all you got to do is just fucking bask in my glory.
Now, did that create maybe a fire in you to do something?
Bro,
or did it do the
that created such a fire like that. Like I was smart enough to know like this reverse psychology shit doesn't work, right? Like you tell me that I suck. I get it that you're trying to tell me that like you're trying to boost me to the next level, but I'm smart enough to realize that like the negativity isn't going to get me to the next level.
I mean,
seeing where you're at is going to get me to the next level. So I strive to be just like my father, bro, because my father, like he was a white kid from Alabama that grew up in the Italian part of Chicago, right? And he married the hottest girl in Chicago at 16 years old, bro, and moved to Hawaii. So my dad and mom were living in Hawaii at 16 years old. My dad was in the army, like fucking out there, and like not even out of high school, bro. Like living in Hawaii, and my mom was like, "Fuck it, I'll move out there with you." You know what I mean? And so they've been together ever since they were 15 years old, and like, so that shit, like it instills in me. Like there could be two things. I could either I could either hate my dad because of how he said, I'll never get this. I'm shooting for this brass ring, and I want this MTV lifestyle when I've got to go work for it. Like, if you want to work for it, you gotta fucking get up at 7 a.m. and make it happen.
That's the thing. You don't see, like, you see all these Instagram models hanging out with the baddest, everybody, all the money. You don't see the work that it takes to get there. You don't see
years of work to get
and
to
that video.
point.
That video probably is a 2-hour period of their day, and the rest of their day, if they want to maintain that lifestyle, is spent doing other things that they're not going to tell anybody about.
One day it's going to look like we did it overnight.
I looked at it like a spider web. So everything is these little angles that are leading to the center circle.
Yeah.
And you have to put all these different avenues to get to this one central location, and that's an hour. Each little lane is 1 hour of time.
Yeah.
Of you putting in the work to get to the central location for 100 follows.
Yeah, and I mean,
you know what I mean?
Which ties its experience.
It's a process, and then it's also taken mind strength to be like, all right, how can I get ahead of the curve to be viral in a sense of the word viral, but like also trying to be inspirational and influential to let someone jump on my train and we're going to go ride, right? So, like, they have all these different angles that they have to think about. Meanwhile, consumers are just follow.
One thing,
Follow. What do I like? Follow. And this person on the other end is like, all right, well, these pictures are really perfect. They're edited immaculate. Everything's great. But how do I market every little bits and pieces? How do I put a piece of me in every content? You know what I mean? Like, and we have Gary Vee who has a team. You know what I mean? He's got a team. He's got a
thousands
team.
of people.
Exactly.
On his
He's got a huge network. But the individuals out there that are doing it by themselves, we're very limited staff. We don't have a lot of people that are working at Native. It's a very short list. I mean, there's 3 of us, period.
Yeah.
That's done. But like, there are people out there that are doing it one person.
Oh, yeah.
There's one person running the whole show, and yet they're bringing in all this content.
You got to start somewhere.
Exactly, but it's that fight.
Yeah,
it's that fight. Because social media is tough.
Yeah.
Social media does not care how good looking you are or anything like that. Yeah, like of course we know that girls get all the attention. We know that we get it. They can post the clickbait. You know, like the thirst post or whatever you want to, like, whatever terminology you want to use. But like, they have that. But there is a wall. There is a ceiling that they hit, and eventually you have to be creative. You have to think outside the box within the algorithm.
Yeah.
Because you can't think too far out, because otherwise you're not going to hit.
You have to figure out the algorithm. It's called SEO programming or SEO learning, and it is, I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but it's essentially
Search engine optimization.
That's right, search engine optimization. And you take that, and that applies to everything.
Teamwork.
That applies to everything from Tinder to Instagram to Facebook to Google. They all use that same, and it's all based on the things that you have to think about, like, oh, what is this person thinking? Are they going to click yes or click no? What's the comment time?
Also, what's dope is if you search up ZOZWEAR, just ZOZWEAR online, it's the first thing that comes up. I'm super impressed with that.
Good.
So that's until somebody like me goes in and buys the SEO to ZOZWEAR. So if I go and I spend $80 a month and I say, hey, I want ZOZWEAR on my SEO, then when they type in ZOZWEAR, Native brand is going to pop up for you guys too.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on, we can get you guys on. Here we go. So that was one thing, man, that I'm actually really impressed with this podcast itself, bro. Like, I'm watching all these podcasts online and shit. It's like, bro, we're kind of fucking fly.
This
dude,
setup is so nice too.
There's a lot of mediocre podcasts,
bro. We've got
this ain't one of
like
them.
every one of these cameras is 4K, but we do 1080p at 60 frames per second, because it gives you a higher refresh rate, so it looks like super clear.
Hey, appreciate y'all.
They're gonna walk in the store right now.
Come on in.
There it is. Put them right behind the boys.
But and then I mean, something I'd love to talk
of
about
Harambe.
is experience and how you guys see that with, because you guys,
Hey,
you're a dad. at the very least to some capacity. Like you help
For
raise
sure,
a child,
bro.
100%.
Yeah,
You're a
absolutely.
dad.
Yeah.
How does that look with experience? Because like our music industry is run by 2 drug dealers who just got their experience from selling drugs, then went into rap, and then took the business knowledge that they had learned on how to sell drugs, and they just transferred their knowledge, and now they own almost every single record label that's major.
It's been going on. It's been going on
P.
since,
Diddy.
yeah, bro. Jay-Z started it back in the 80s, bro.
So how do you guys as parents, what do you do to give your children that opportunity? Because obviously you're not going to want your child to come and become a drug dealer, but drug dealing is an invaluable experience because you're learning product management, you're learning where you have to import and
Most
export
drug dealers
from.
know more than a lot of business owners.
Yeah.
And
that's
so
that's
there was
it's
a Harvard study on
it's
that.
it's a business mentality, man. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's drugs, clothes, bread, shoes. It doesn't matter what it is, man. It like you got to learn how to sell it, right? And
Yeah.
so Jay-Z was very good at saying, hey, like if I can sell CDs out of my trunk, bro, then I'm a businessman,
Yeah.
not a businessman. You know what I mean? Like he's a businessman when it comes down to it. Like if you can sell Coke, you can sell CDs, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot less. It's a lot less heartache. It's a lot easier as long as you believe in the product that you're putting out.
So how do children gain that? Like if you had one piece of advice as 2 adults who are successful and kind of have carved out your own.
Find something that you're good at and double down on it.
Yeah.
Right. So if you whether it be baseball, whether it be baseball cards, whether it be selling baseball cards, whether it's selling shoes, whether it's knowing to go to a thrift store, like there's ways that you can create your own self-satisfaction, which what we were saying earlier, like my self-gratification is going out and buying stuff and reselling it, right? It used to be self-gratification is going out and buying shoes and wearing them. Now my self-gratification is buying shoes and selling it to Andrew or to somebody else that wants them more than I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I got like I was able to get a connection and I'm able to sell to somebody else, and now I'm their connection, and I also like I had the high of buying it and the high of selling it. It's the same thing as the high of buying it and wearing it, right? But but when
You were
you're
talking about
selling
that
it,
earlier,
you
the
make
two.
it. You make
Yeah.
more money. You make your money back plus some. So it's like there's moments like that where, you know, it doesn't matter what it is, dude. Like if clothing, like I could have done anything in this world, man. But like clothing was what I fell in because fashion felt good to me, right? But I could have been selling CDs all my life, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's so many moments where you just gotta find what you love
And
and then figure out how to double down on it, bro. There's ways to make money in this entire world.
There
bro.
are. It's crazy. Like when you are unemployed and when you're unemployed, you have 2 options. You can just sit in the unemployment, just try to go get a job, or you can go and make money. And
you get hungry.
And that's the exact same when you
a
have a
turning
job.
point.
I remember, so I have a roommate, just works at a fast food restaurant, really happy with his life, not a lot of like envision or goals where he wants to go anywhere. And so he asked me a question the other day, and he was just talking about like what's some of the stuff that I've done, and the 2 things that I remember saying to him is it's really funny is stay hungry. Because if you leave just a little bit of hungriness, if you don't eat until you're full and pass up, it starts training you. You always are looking for that next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Always, what can I do with it? And then when you're employed, and let's say you have a W-2 job, you can also still be living and doing all of the other stuff that aren't necessarily jobs. They're side hustles.
Every podcast, bro.
You were talking about that.
Every
that
podcast.
burden.
Get a cup holder for the right side. Or left
Bro,
side.
But it's,
Yeah.
That's my blind side, bro. I'm just over here slapping away at the clock on this side.
I want to dive into that too. So you were saying that what you would teach my child.
I've got do you have to use the restroom?
No, not really.
Okay, I saw your legs twitching.
Thank you for asking,
I
though.
didn't want to make sure because we got to figure it out, man. This has been like almost 3 hours right now. I got to pee, and I didn't want to get up and
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
and
all
you
good.
guys
can
be
definitely-
like, damn, bro, he
Go ahead.
went to go pee and I didn't.
I'll
So
talk.
if you want to
Yeah.
bounce the ball back and forth, real
100%.
quick, let's end this in 8 minutes though.
8 minutes. Right.
Awesome.
Yep. For sure. So you were saying that you previously were saying that like, what would you teach
Yeah.
a little one? honestly, my main focus is going at what you're most passionate about.
Mhm.
So, hey, it's a time. It's a long time. 3 hours is a long period of time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're. I mean, I feel like the time has flown by.
Yeah, it
You
really
know what I
does
mean?
seem
You
like
know?
that. It's because we've been having good conversation, which
Exactly.
is back to the podcast. It's such a great medium of being able to communicate stuff because it's an open discussion.
It is. It really is.
Yeah.
And that's what I would teach my daughter Charlie is if you're listening, Charlie, in the future. She's obviously not listening right now, but
Hey, what's up, Charlie?
Charlie Christine Eisler. She'll be 3 in August 30th, and she's already got a little personality. She has conversations with me. I talk to her like I talk to you all.
Yeah.
I don't talk in baby voice.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really persistent about that, not talking to her like she's a dog.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking like, oh, do you want the milk? You want milk? She says, I want milk. And I'm like, well, I'll give you milk. I think she's lactose intolerant, low key, but like we're not for certain.
Yeah.
But there's just a few different things. Her mom's allergic to a bunch of things, so I'm sure she's getting some of the gene traits, whatever. But as she's growing, I would teach her that your passions. And I'm not saying like you want to be a NBA player, right? So I'm 5'7". You know, I'm not a tall guy. I can't play NBA, but I can handle a basketball. I can shoot really well. I know how to get to the basket. I know how to score. I can make things happen. I'm a playmaker, but I am not good enough to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
I didn't grow. It's just not my path. I wrestled, and it taught me discipline. It taught me how to overcome.
Yeah.
It taught me how to become resilient and make sure that I was going to get to the final goal. But what I would tell her is that your passions, which mine was music, but even as dancing, soccer, softball, drawing, painting, whatever the case may be, or maybe she just likes math.
Yeah.
Maybe she just is really good at math. It's not my strongest suit. I can do math. I'm really well at it, but I'm not. I can do it really well, but I'm not like let's say arithmetic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Stuff like that is
Yeah.
not something you use every day. Maybe she's good at that. Maybe she's an engineer without being there yet. But if she's passionate about it, what I would tell her, first thing I would say is, where are the errors? What are you not good at within what you're passionate about?
Yeah.
So you're passionate about clothing. Where in clothing are you not the strongest at? Are you not good at designing? Are you not good at marketing? Are you not good at like even presentation? Are you not good at what's happening next? Can you not see the future? Do you have to look at other brands to get to the
Yeah.
future? Whatever the case may be. So find your errors and find your lacking,
Flaws.
your flaws. Exactly. Thank you,
Yeah.
Jay. Your flaws. And so any of the flaws and the nuances, iron them out.
Uh-huh.
Just find a way to
Yeah.
iron them out any way you can. And as soon as you fix those flaws, all you have is just good.
Mm-hmm.
And you remove the bad and then run 100 miles per hour in that direction. Just go until you don't have that passion
Yeah.
anymore. As soon as the passion is starting to cut and you feel burnt out, because burnout is a really common thing in
Yeah.
humans. You can be great at something. You could play guitar your whole life and be the next savant of it. But then all of a sudden you're like, man, I don't feel like picking up the guitar.
I've been
Yeah.
burnt out. I've
And you
been
know,
burnt out and
yeah,
stuff.
burnout's a real thing.
I mean,
And
the way that I find like around that is that I'll have I'll bounce around between skills and topics.
He
and,
goes like this. So he's going, burnout, boot, boot.
and then I'll come back in full
And
circle.
then
and
Refresh.
just like
goes
keep doing
over.
that. Over
Refresh.
and over.
We had a whole
Refresh.
period of time where we spent 2 weeks working on a project. Specifically, that project was just for blockchain.
Yeah,
just
because
for
I
all
needed
that
a
kind-
break from clothing.
I just
and it
needed a
was
break.
Like, let's work on something different. Let's work on something new and put a spin to it. And that's how we came up with.
Because
a lot
I
of
would
ideas.
say, piggybacking on what you said, if I've learned anything in the site space, there's always opportunity.
Mhm.
You're passionate about basketball. You were passionate about music, but let's assume for a case in point, you were passionate about basketball.
I was.
You were, but
I
you were
was,
too.
I was just.
You
I didn't grow.
You didn't
Yeah.
have the necessary skill or the body to be able to.
He wasn't tall.
There's a movie.
Wasn't tall, that's it.
Wasn't tall.
He was in a sweat box for
Yeah.
wrestling when he was in high school,
I
so
had-
it
I had
stunted
a-
his growth.
I had to move on. Yeah, I had to move on because it just didn't grow. I was
Yeah.
just like I was fitting with all the star athletes, but they were just taller than me and scouts wanted
Yeah.
them, and I was like, all right, I got to figure something else out.
And
early on, man, 13 years
and
old.
what I'd
so.
say is any kid who's in that area, there's a movie with Adam Sandler. There's so many opportunities in the basketball world. You can become a scout.
Right.
You can try to own your own team.
Hustle's
you can become a
fire, bro.
coach.
That movie's good.
Yeah,
I was
Hustle,
about
it's
to say.
so
Yeah,
good.
it was
Yeah, and I really think like in that, if you look at some of the other elements, Adam Sandler is such a good actor when he's not doing. Like, he's a good actor for comedy, but he's a really good drama actor because he does it with this way that like, oh, it's like that's real.
Yeah.
There's this real depth to it, and if you find just something and you're like, I want to do it, or you have an idea of wanting to do it, you might eventually decide not to do it, but do it. Find where you're able to fit in there, because all it's going to do is give you skill. And the way you succeed in the world is you can't just stick with one thing anymore. You have to stack those high income skills and then
100%
build
right.
a foundation. Because once you have a foundation built, you can build anything on the foundation. You can tear anything off the foundation and rebuild something better. But you need a good foundation.
And those L's aren't losses, man.
Yeah, they're not.
If you're plugging in, and if you're hoping for a W and you get an L, bro, like that L's not a loss. It's a learning experience, man. That's the big thing. Is like if it doesn't break you, let it make you.
Experiences though.
Yeah, that's
Learning. That's what I'm saying, bro. Them L's are learning experiences, and as long as it doesn't kill you, it's gonna make you stronger, bro. Like there was a moment like that Emilio Estevez thing, and maybe we should end it on this, man, because like I gave up. Like I was in Procter and Gamble. Like they picked me up as an up and coming entrepreneur. Like I remember the phone call. And I remember the guy going, look, you're a part of the team now. So it doesn't matter what happens. You're part of the P&G team. And I'm thinking, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, I got goosebumps all over my body. I'm thinking, like, I made it. This is it. Like, I'm in P&G's. Like, he told me I'm in P&G's family now, right? And there was supposed to only be a 3-month stint. I did a full year in their store because they wanted me to stay there. And then at the end of the 12 months, I did a grand finale party. And I was like, called all my guys up, all my friends, hey, like, this is it. This is the grand finale party for P&G. I want them to see how many fans we got in this fucking 12 months. Yeah. There was a bad rainstorm, a bad thunderstorm that night. And right outside here, there's a 12-foot graffiti logo. So it's 12 foot wide, 4 foot tall. I paid this group called now shout out to them because they're one of the fucking biggest graffiti groups in the world now, bro. But they're so they're called Often Seen, Rarely Spoken. But they're from Cincinnati and they're friends of mine. But they're up there with Banksy. They're up there with the London Police.
Yeah.
Like they get paid tens of thousands of dollars to put one logo on a building now, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
And so like they made that logo for us a lifetime ago, bro. But like, so what we did was I paid him to do that logo, and then after he did that logo, we took 30 shirts and we hung the shirts all over that big ass thing, and then he graffitied all the shirts on top of it. So we had something which was the Guinness Book of World Records of the most shirts graffitied at one time. And I didn't even have enough people to show up to give the shirts out, bro. There were 30 shirts there. I didn't even have 30 people that showed up. So I still have all 30 of those shirts at my house. I still have the 16 people that came down. I still have all their names written down.
You should frame that.
I'm gonna give the shirts to them, and we're gonna redo. I want to redo the photo where all of us are standing together, and on a three like stands, so we can all like once we stand together, it's just one big graffiti logo that says Native on there. But like that was one of those moments, man, where the rainstorm came in. And I spent all this money, bro. Like I spent everything I had to get this graffiti group to fucking do this thing, and I didn't even have enough money to pay them back. Oh yeah. And I was like, this is it. Like I went home to my wife, a girlfriend at the time, and I broke down, bro. Like mentally, like I just crashed. Tears coming down my face, and I'm like, I can't do it, man. I can't do this. Like these L's, they're too hard, man. Like. It's getting me emotional because I remember the time, bro. I gave up. Yeah. That was the one time I gave up. I was like, I'm done. That's it. I can't do it. Like these L's, you take them on the chin, and it gets to a point, bro. We just can't take it anymore.
What made you come back?
This is the best part. So the next morning, I went to the store. I cleared the entire store out. Right, I pulled all the clothes out, so there was no more clothes inside Native, or inside Preneur. No more Native clothes in there. And I was on my phone, and I was texting this fake ass post. Thank you for everybody that came out tonight. I had such a good time. Fucking thank you. The grand finale was phenomenal. You know, knowing that, oh, I'm done. I just pulled all the clothes out of the store, and I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just going to go back to the 9 to 5, bro. And then literally I hear this. And I look over, and it's Stephanie, the manager of Preneur. Wow. And she just goes, points like this, and I look over, and it's Emilio Estevez. Oh, right, wow. Fucking Coach Bombay,
Coach
bro.
Bombay, bro.
And he's so I look over, and he's in my window, and he's doing this. What are you doing? And so I roll the window down, and I'm like, coming out, give me a second. And so I put the phone down, and I get out of the car. And he's like, what are you doing, dude? He's like, I bought a hat last night from you out of this store, and I came back today because my family wants them. Oh, yeah. Right, so like I saw the photo that he stopped in the store that yesterday afternoon, bought a hat, wore it. I wasn't there. I didn't get to meet him, whatever. So he came back the next day, and he was like, I came back because my brother, my mother, and my dad all want Native stuff. Wow. Now you're talking Charlie Sheen, Martin Sheen, and their mom in this whole thing, bro. Yeah. So I was like, that's holy cow. Crazy. So I popped the trunk open, and I ended up selling him $300 worth of stuff out of the trunk of my car, bro. And I tell Emilio at the time, and I told him, I'm like, bro, you're not going to believe this, man, but like, I gave up. Like, I was in the car doing my farewell to everybody online on some fake fucking bullshit. He's like, why would you be doing that right now, dude? Like, this is he's like, I came back because I was obsessed with, this is my favorite hat that I own, and I came back to buy more of them. You're on to something, bro, and you do not give up. Yeah. And he prayed with me, bro. Like, I don't believe in if there's a white dude or a black dude or anybody with a fucking beard up there. Like, there's somebody there. I don't know if it's a guy or a girl or a black dude or a white dude or an alien but there's something there that keeps pushing me a little bit further along, bro. Yeah.
It's a much larger presence.
So Emilio goes, yo, can I pray with you? I was like, dude, yeah. Hug me. So he hugged me right there, and we prayed, right? And he fucking put his hand on my head, gave me a pray, gave me a hug, and I was like, this is the craziest moment of my entire life, dude. I was giving up. I gave up, and now all of a sudden Emilio Estevez is here, which is like a huge part of my childhood, which is just telling me to keep trekking, bro, keep going. Like, I gave up last night, and God's like, nah, player, like, stop that dumb shit. Yeah. Don't stop. You're almost there. Keep trekking, man. Yeah. So, like, until this day, like, I've got, like me and Emilio are friends. I can text him right now, and he'll fucking hit me back, like, yo, bro, like, I'm super proud of where the brand's going and everything. And without that moment, without that fucking 30 seconds, I wouldn't be here today, bro. And that's the craziest thing is to think that. But that's the thing, man. There's a bigger picture. I don't know if it's a god or an alien or a black dude or a white dude or a yellow dude or a female or a dog that's up there like telling us what to do. But there's something bigger that it's bigger than our bodies are giving us credit for.
Yeah.
It's hard to even like rationalize because we
can't comprehend it. Whatever it might be.
Whatever's happening.
It's much larger than
fifth dimension being or something of that nature, right?
Yeah. We're in the fourth dimension. Yeah. We're in that pocket. Like, we're in that third, fourth world. Like, to get into different dimensions, a whole nother conversation, which we could have a podcast on.
Oh, bro, we can like the whole conspiracy theory podcast. We need to double up on it, bro. Like no joke, man. When I was showing you guys earlier about those lime green Stefan Janoski shoes.
That was wild.
I walked to the bathroom, and the dude that created those shoes texted me. Bro, not only did he text me, but he told me, this is fucking crazy as shit, man. So,
but 33 minutes earlier we were talking about this, and
he wasn't listening to us. We were talking about the Stefan Janoski shoes, right?
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, I haven't talked to him since June 9th. All right, so that was like 2 weeks ago. So he texts me and says, yo, what do you think about the sneaker display case? I bought a pair of lemon twists, which those lemon twists, those are the ones that they created. So he bought another pair of lemon twist Janoskis on eBay 6 months ago, and he was trying to buy a frame for them. And then he goes, I think Janoski's Nike contract is over. No more Janoski shoes on the website, and no more Janoski's shoes available basically anywhere. The 10-year contract is up. Yeah, so he texted me this today while I was walking to the bathroom, just moments after we were just talking about the whole Stefan Janoski. These shoes right here, bro, these Stefan Janoski shoes that we're talking about. Like, these things, they're done for, apparently. But
put those in a box.
It's
Keep
just
them for 10 years.
Bro, so I've got Stefan's shoes. I've got Stefan Janoski's actual skate shoes, the ones that he had.
That's really cool.
Back in 2012, when they first launched the SB shoes, my buddy Nick, the guy that texted me when I was on the way to the bathroom, got a pair of his 9.5 Stefan Janoski's 9.5 shoes and says, "Hey, I want to send you these shoes. These are new shoes that Stefan's rocking." And so I've got them. Like, I've got ones from Stefan's actual fucking like.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
bro.
SBs are arguably one of the most popular skate shoes out there right now.
And he murdered it too. So these SBs, he wanted these to be basically like Keds and boat shoes together, right?
Oh, yeah.
So like the cool thing about these is like the sole, bro. The sole is so simple and so easy to manipulate and to bend.
Yeah.
Right. And he wanted that, so you're able to fucking like grab onto the skateboard.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like the shoes, like this is the desert sand version.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, bro. So he's got a ton of these, man, that came out. But like Nick Ellis and Jordan Blackmore, that came out with these lemon twists that were like, they call them Volt now, which is like the super bright color. Bro, there was only one pair of shoes before the Stefan Janoskis that were the Volt color. That was the ones that were 2010. They were the DJ Clark Kent's. They were the number one shoes of 2010. Those Volts were, and then the Stefan Janoskis came out in 2012. It's insane, bro. That they're just like we're all on this path of just trying to create something, man.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about 3 Square Studios and Jordan trying to create those shoes, and it's insane, man. You just got to think outside the box and never limit yourself, because that was one of those things where, you know, he's just a hair salon. He's just a stylist. He cuts hair for a living, but he did it to an extent that made it a lifestyle, bro.
Right. I mean, there's that barber on TikTok who all he does is go around and give people free haircuts and talk to them on the streets, and he makes millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
What's his name?
I can't remember what his name is.
I
He's
know
like
who you're
the-
talking about, but I don't know.
What is his name?
He's like just a
He's-
street bar. He's so.
Is he Asian?
No, he's a short white dude,
Yeah,
all
okay.
full tats.
He just gets the haircuts on the street.
So there's another guy that got famous doing that fucking 8-9 years ago. Asian dude. He actually worked for 3 Square Studios. And he came to town. God damn, I'm so bummed I can't remember his name, man. CB's was his initials, but anyways, man. So he came to town and he was doing the same thing, cutting homeless people's hairs.
Yeah.
And got super famous over it, where he had billboards all over the world. Like even in China, bro, there was a billboard with his face on it. Fuck, man. See, all my buddies are gonna fucking curse at me right now, man, because it's like
Yeah.
Chuck Rocker, Nick Ellis. It's all their really good friend from New York. So when he came to town, he stayed in my house. Him and his wife and his dog stayed in my house while he was doing this national tour of cutting homeless people's hairs, man.
That's really cool. I mean, it just goes to show that you can take anything and turn it into anything. All that is required is a drive. Who would have thought that somebody could make money off free haircuts on the street talking to individuals that he had never met before?
Yeah.
And he saw something that wasn't there and just went and did it. He didn't, and he just did it. It could have failed, and it almost definitely did a whole bunch of times before he actually got it right. But Thomas Edison failed, I think it was like 173 times before he got the right combination for the light bulb.
Yeah.
And that's something as simple as a light bulb. Like, we're over here trying to, we want to create things that are going to stand for generations and have a lasting positive impact on people. You have to do it. That's the secret formula to success. The secret formula to anything is you can't give up. Every time you fall down, it's not a true L unless you give up.
Yeah.
And then you just do it. Whatever that might be, you will figure it out along the way. But nobody ever got anywhere by standing still. They got somewhere by driving. Whether or not you have to take a couple reroutes, go down a back
Pivot,
road
bro.
to get back.
Pivot.
Just go.
Pivot.
Fucking send it and do something. That's really what matters.
That was one of the best advices that I've ever had, bro. So when COVID happened, I signed the lease to the store outside on March 2nd, 2020. Right, the pandemic happened March 16th. So literally 2 weeks after I signed a contract for a 4,000 square foot store, the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden I wasn't allowed to have people in the store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like we started freaking out where it's like we just signed this big lease, and now like we did all this work, we put all this money into the store. So anything that we made previous doesn't mean shit because we just dumped it all into getting this new store ready. And then they wouldn't let us open. So like it got to the point where I was saying like at least I have $200 in petty cash in the drawer to pay my bills. And that's crazy as fuck to think, man, that like it got that down to that dire needs where like I was gonna have to pull money out of the change drawer to pay my notes. But it was just one of those things, man, where like you don't know where you're going or what the next step is, but like just believe in the process and double down on what you're good at, man. Because you know we didn't like we don't know what the future holds, and thankfully the levee gave us the rope to hang ourselves, but we ran with it, and they loved everything that we did. So you know we have a podcast on a stage in the front window that the levee loves, bro. Kenwood hated it.
I was gonna say, in the process, other people that are making decisions said it wasn't a right idea, and we were like, you know what? We're just gonna pivot back to where we feel the strongest, and we brought the whole operation to the levee full time.
Because you guys know your brand, and you know it's worked. And
such a like more social place than Kenwood.
For sure.
You go there to shop,
We thought differently though. We thought Kenwood
was top of the food chain.
We thought the food chain, and we also thought like the mass amount of traffic would bring us that
60
attention.
G's is what,
exactly.
We thought 60 G's is what it was going to bring through Christmas time, bro.
About half of that, if that. And like it's one of those things where it was like the misunderstood. We ran into a lot of misunderstanding with what we were trying to achieve and what they were trying to achieve. And at the end of the day, we just had it was just not a good. It was just not a good. It wasn't a good collaboration, if you will, between that and there. This has been perfect.
And you guys learned from your mistakes. That L turned into a W because you took it and you just ran with it.
Without that experience, we wouldn't have had this. This was like, all right, well, if we're not going to be able to do it that big, let's just do it bigger on the next step. So because like we still had that another spot on the levee, but we wanted to go even bigger with this location. And when we were moving they wanted to move all the retail spaces indoors instead of outside, which where we were on the levee. If you're familiar with the makeup, there's outside is restaurants, inside is shopping experience. So we were like, you know what? Let's just build a stage. Let's put the podcast in all its limelight. Let's light it up. Let's put the lights up because obviously you see the lights above your head. We wanted to make it as epic. We wanted it epic. We wanted something that was like, you know what? When you're on this stage, this is your time, man.
I mean, it's also like a golden spot. Like you walk in that door
bro.
over there, it's the first store you see.
First thing you see.
Sees it. And this one connects right to the parking garage right down there.
Exactly.
Like,
parking garage is everything.
Yeah, the parking garage is everything. And so people just come in and you took your experience from Kenwood and then you transferred it and you brought it over here and you knew what you were doing because you had already fallen down and gotten back up.
Yeah.
And so that loss wasn't actually a loss. All that loss was more experience.
And learning experience again, man.
Yeah, and it really comes to that is success. Success is failing enough times to know how to do something the right way wherever you take it. I run a construction business, and
to you.
And I'm able to.
Good for you, man.
I've been working construction since I was 15 years old, and I'm able to look at all of this stuff I've done and go, I messed up here and here and here. I put a hammer through my arm right here. Like I did this, and I'm able to watch other people and go, oh, I have a boss. I'm going to learn how to do his job because at some point I might want to go do that. Yeah. So then I learned how to do project management. And then I took that and I was able to, and all it was watching other people fail. All it was failing myself until I got to a space where I said, all right, I'm ready to go out and fail for real. And then I did, and I went out and I failed
Yeah,
a whole bunch. And it's still a continual process of I have to do that work. I have to go do, and I'm doing it, and it's getting better, and it's getting easier, and it's getting much more profitable. But I still have to do that, and I have to consistently fall down to figure out the right way.
And
to
you
do
self-motivate, man. You can tell that you're self-motivated, and no one's telling you to get up and work.
Yeah.
So
I call it ADHD.
Sure, exactly. And you have your brain isn't shutting off. You're just gonna
Yeah.
continue going, and it's the type of person you are. And we are much the same. We're about to wrap this up.
Yeah, here's that.
Yeah.
That bill. Like, look at how big that billboard is, bro. That was just one of them. So his name is Mark Bustos.
Okay. Yeah.
So shout out to Mark Bustos, man. This is. So that was in China somewhere, bro. But he's all over the world
That's
with
the
these.
haircut guy?
Yeah,
Okay.
Mark Bustos was his name. Is his name? He's still out fucking cranking it out. But yeah, this is what was he had a Be Beautiful something like it was his like quote for the whole thing was just it was very cool, man. It was like be better to humanity, like one of those things.
Those simple taglines that really people can connect with are so invaluable.
Yeah, it's incredible, man. And the fact that like he just showed up from he went from being an employee at 3 Square Studios to becoming bigger than Jordan. You know what I mean? Bigger than the guy that owned the company because he went out and started doing stuff outside of his realm.
Yeah.
He was traveling around cutting homeless hair for free.
He started
like,
working for himself.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like just putting in the hours, man. That's all you got to do. So, all right, man. I appreciate you guys coming in, dude. So if now on ZOZWEAR, you've got women's and men's clothes, right?
Mhm.
So you've got like vintage women's shit on there too.
Yeah.
Because that's something else that down there at Pixel 19, Stu has a whole back room of like all like female stuff too from the 50s and 60s that his ex-girlfriend has down there, bro.
I might have to go down. It's been like a year since I've been. Like,
Bro, if it's been a year, he's got 52 new shipments of stuff because every week
wow.
he's bringing new stuff in. So
Yeah.
it's
You
been
should clear out our inventory.
yeah,
It was around COVID last time I talked to him.
dope, man. Yeah, I'd love to go over with you too, man, because like I've known Stu for over 20 years, bro.
Yeah.
So I bought stuff out of his house back
Oh yeah.
25 years
think
ago, right? So
I think
like,
I got that 50-cent T-shirt out of his house.
oh, dope,
So, yeah.
super dope, man.
Got some Gucci pants out there.
Yeah,
I've got,
remember
dude.
the
I
Gucci pants.
have a jacket that looks just like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air jacket. It looks like you
Yeah.
pulled it inside out.
Oh yeah, that red
Whereas-
suede jacket that came from
Yeah,
Pixel
yeah, yeah.
19.
So I've got a black and white version. It's all filigree.
Oh,
So it's
wow.
all like flowered, like all the white, but
yeah.
all the black is felt. So it's all two tone. You can feel it.
Uh-huh.
Shit's fire, bro. And like Stu, like I probably bought it 25 years ago. He's like, bro, give me $20. You can have it. I'm like, what? All right, bro. Done. Let's go.
Count me in.
Yeah. So all right, man. Well, let's go ahead and shout you guys out, man. So if they want to find ZOZWEAR, it's just ZOZWEAR.com.
ZOZWEAR.com.
Yeah.
All right, and then if they want to find you guys, you guys in particular.
So Brighton Zoz, BRYTON ZOZ on Instagram, all platforms.
All right, Brighton Zaz.
Mine's just Street Rat 360 on all platforms.
Street Rat
Exactly how it is.
360.
Yeah, no spaces.
Do you do the pins?
I don't do the pins.
You don't.
I
okay.
do know the pins. I know the dude who does do the pins.
Jesus
I
Christ,
had the
bro!
idea-
Like I almost had. Are you fucking kidding me? Moment because like I've been so like I've been wanting to do street pins with Street Rat for forever, but they've always wanted to charge like retail prices,
Yeah.
right? Which is cool. Like I totally get it, but like I'm trying to buy 30 of them to resale, right?
Yeah.
We'll eventually get to that point, man,
Yeah.
because I love what he does, and he's always pushing the boundaries and doing the glow in the dark shit.
And it's
like,
really cool. It's really just the whole concept of it is really interesting. I actually got my username comes from Aladdin. He calls himself a street rat, and I thought it was the funniest thing ever. And I was like, oh, I'll just tag on 360 because I'm a skater and the best trick I've ever been able to land was a 360.
dope, bro.
Nice.
And so I did that, and so that's kind of where that went. And then I actually like saw the stuff that he was doing. I was, wow, that's way better of a concept. I wish I thought of something like that with that. But yeah, he's doing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are doing some really cool stuff, man. So don't cancel yourself out just yet, bro. You
Yeah.
guys are still teenagers, man. So
Well, I
by
appreciate that.
the
Thank
time
you.
you're 24, 25, man, like I'm gonna be over here, like I said, there's gonna be smoke up my ass where I'm gonna have to get better because I know that you guys are gonna get to the point where I'm gonna have to get better because you guys are just gonna keep doubling down on this internet shit and all this like how to implement
Always.
the electronics and into the retail world. And
Modernizing things, man.
That's
Yeah.
the thing, bro.
Ahead of the curve, and that's there's no price you can put on that, man. You're just ahead, and if you keep pushing it, man, I think at the end of the day, you're talking million dollar idea right in front of you. You just cannot quit, cannot
can't
stop,
Got to make it happen
and keep pushing. And we're ready to work with people just like yourselves. And
Yeah, you gotta double
let's
down
do
on
it.
what you're good at, man.
We got
Yeah.
a long-term commitment on this.
Yeah,
so it's-
passion.
We ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, bro.
Not at all.
Well,
All right,
appreciate
fellas.
y'all, man.
Yeah, appreciate you guys,
Yeah.
man. So this will wrap up another edition of the Powwow.
Yeah, man.
Once again, we didn't get to get Tyrell and Kurt in like we want to, man. We're gonna figure out a way to make this podcast room bigger. or
Oh,
something.
we're-
Gotta
we'll
extend
figure it out.
to the
yeah,
right.
for sure.
We're pivoting just like everybody else.
Yeah. All right, everybody.
All right, man.
We'll see you next week on
Awesome.
another episode of the
Right.
Powwow. If you want to be a part of it, comment below or message us. We do have sponsorships. We've got money coming in where we're going to be getting some celebrity guests in at the end of the month, where they're going to be able to stay at the Aloft Hotel, have a good time, spend some drinks down here, and we'll make it happen. So. All right, everybody. I love you guys. We'll see you next week. I got to get home before I get into a divorce situation.
All right.
Because it is almost 11 o'clock. This might be the longest podcast. This is 3 hours and 20-something minutes.
Yeah, 3 hours and 19
3
minutes.
hours and
Honored to be
18
on the
minutes.
longest
So,
Yeah.
native podcast.
yeah.
That is-
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Worth
you so much for having us
every
on.
minute, man.
Yeah,
Seriously,
definitely.
like that's
Yeah, we'd
Yeah.
love to have you guys back, man. And anything we can do to help you guys out, too. If we got to house some of your vintage clothes here so people can come in and pick it up, we can consignment, whatever we need to do,
I mean,
man.
let's come check back up.
I want
in
to.
a
I want
few
to see you
months.
guys. I want to see you guys thrive, bro. Whatever we can
Awesome.
do to make you guys get to that next level. Whether I've got to buy your entire stash and resell it here, man.
Hey, he said 2 weeks to turn around, so we'd
I'm
be all
not
right.
opposed to doing that either, bro.
Yeah,
So,
man. You guys, I mean, the beauty of it is you have a proven concept because
Yeah.
people love
Yeah.
thrifting, they love vintage stuff, so you can't lose. So no matter what happens, is there's always gonna be vintage stuff
Yeah.
that you haven't found yet, and the hunt is just as much fun as making the money, man.
It really is.
It is, yeah.
You guys need to get involved with markets too, man. If you guys got that much clothes on hand, if you guys can drop into like an off market or like a West Side market and buy a booth for $100,
Oh.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you guys will clear house on something
yeah.
like that. So we can get you guys involved with that too, man.
Yeah.
Like I love to do whatever I can to help you guys.
I
man.
appreciate it.
But
I
we
really
hit
do.
3 hours and 20 minutes. Let's call it a
All
day,
right,
boys.
everybody. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
We'll see you next week
Hey.
in another episode of the Powwow. It's your boy Jay Banks. We're out of here.
Later.
Peace.
Bye.
See ya.
Appreciate y'all. Later.
Let's see. Do we have a cool? Oh, we got the end shot.